And welcome to another episode of My Idaho Friends. I'm still your host, Jaime Lima, and episode 32, the last episode of 2020. Holy moly. Thank you as always to Argos Productions, Justin, Erica, sweet baby James out in the back, making sure that everything looks good. Love you a long time. I always appreciate you guys so much. Today is going to be a good one. I mean, it's always a good one, but you always have to say that. That way the guest feels special. And so today we get to have a virtual beer tasting and a chat, or vice versa, or in between, with my buddy, Jake Black, founder and beer connoisseur over at Lost Grove Brewing. Buddy, thank you so much for making time to be here.
Thank you, Jaime. Yeah, I look forward to hanging out and talking to you. Well, I feel like every time we hang out and talk, I look forward to it. So
yeah,
it's not too different.
Yeah, we're visionaries and we're looking forward to the future of our conversations.
Right.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So if you're tuning in, housekeeping things. In about 30 minutes, we're going to announce our first winner. So we're doing a giveaway today. Free private boxing lesson from Coach Daniel Marine from Marine Boxing Academy. Those are going to take place over in SBG Idaho Combat Fitness. So if you did all the things that you were supposed to do on the My Idaho Friends post on December 28th for this giveaway, then you are in. We have a hat full of names and things, and it's going to be awesome. So we're going to be giving 3 of those away every 30 minutes. And then for like the closing of the episode, there's going to be the one in which we're going to be giving away 2 free classes for the same person that, you know, decided to participate on our virtual tasting. Yeah, it is pretty sweet, you know. It's like, why wait till like later to get into boxing? I don't know where I was going with that, but you know, you should do it because it's awesome and it's fun and it's for
great
all
way to work out, right?
Yeah.
Even if you don't want to like be in boxing, I mean, just boxing itself, I feel like it's an awesome workout.
Right. Yeah. And he's an excellent coach, and there's I mean, it's just open to all levels and to everybody. So it's just for the kids or for your grandma, you know, whoever wants to throw down. That makes it sound bad. Throw down, hit pads, and do the workout with Coach. You know, he'll take great care of you. So
Fight Club, huh?
Yeah, no, it's not. That's what I wish I did, but I do not. So, we'll talk about the violence in a controlled environment later. We're gonna talk about good beer, good company, and my silly accent that I cannot get rid of every time I go live on this stream. So, nice. Jacob, what do we have here today in front of us?
So we brought 6 of our beers, and we have 2 of our beers that we're just going to kind of talk about that we didn't bring to taste. But we brought our Hoos beer, which is kind of our lager in a way, like our house lager, but really it's just fun. Hoos is Norwegian for house.
I knew that.
And so for me, I'm actually, my family, my mother and all of her sisters are 100% Norwegian. So my grandparents born in Norway. And so it's kind of fun with the yeast strain is from Norway that we use. And so that's the fun beer. Yeah, it's like the super yeast strain, like Vikings, right?
You fancy. Wow.
Fancy.
Yeah.
You know, and then we brought a Hefeweizen, which is fun, which is also like a cool different yeast strain as well. We use a couple different yeast strains at the brewery, but so that one's fun, and that one's named after my mom, which is always cool. It's a series of beers that we'll get into when we get to it. And then we got our Margot, which is our amber ale. So it's got just a little bit of that like maltiness. Ambers are kind of boring beers in general, but I think they have their place in this world. I think they go well with a lot of other beers.
Okay.
And ours is really nice. It has like a couple little like spicy characteristics to it, and it's just a great drink of beer. We got our Disappointed Dad, which I think is everybody's favorite name.
Right.
It's 9%, so it's a big old beer. Delicious IPA. If you're IPA fans, highly recommend it. We're actually almost out of it at the brewery, so those of you that were able to get 6 packs of the tasters, you're getting some of the last ones that we got of that batch.
Wow.
We do actually have our new sour, so we were going to do our Ghost Town Porter, which is definitely one of my favorite beers that we make, but we blew through it. So we have a new batch that's coming out next week of our Ghost Town Porter, but we substituted our Giraffe Horse. I kind of just skipped around, but we substituted our Giraffe Horse, which is our American Stout. That one's got a great beer name. We kind of give a little little nod to Kylie Boland, who is the office boss. I mean, she actually kind of runs the brewery.
Big giraffe fan, yeah.
But she's a big giraffe fan, and maybe horses too. I don't think she really likes horses, but she has a horse tattooed on herself that kind of looks like a giraffe. It's a giraffe, or I can't remember the way that it's supposed to go. But.
Yeah.
And then I brought our new sour that just came out,
Okay.
which is Bitty Bitty Pom Pom. You know, why would it not be called Bitty Bitty Pom Pom?
Why not?
Kylie actually named it, so that's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really cool. She's
and
doing all the things.
She's doing all the things. Yeah, she came up with that name. She was super pumped. We were pumped. I feel like it worked out well. And that one's a tangerine pomegranate sour. It's really good. I actually had a pint earlier today. So, yeah, so those are the beers we're going to try. And then Jaime's going to ask me just, I guess, a bunch of random questions.
Yeah.
I'll be
We start
forced
with
to answer.
really,
I don't know. What are we
really
doing
easy
here?
questions. We
Okay,
start with
all right.
really easy questions, you know. But, you know, something like for future reference, you know, since you're talking about names about beers, you know, my Idaho Friends beers, that just rolls off the tongue. And also Disappointed 2020.
Also good. Yeah.
You know, also, but you know, that's just me. So, anyways, let's get to your first warm-up question. Just
Okay.
to just
All right.
get going, not a
All
big
right.
deal. You're having some nuts. You're drinking the water. We haven't cracked the beer yet.
when are we
People are
gonna crack
tuning
the
in and
beer?
actually watching. So, on a scale to 0 to crying during sex, how was your 2020?
I was crying, during sex,
Okay.
for sure, yeah. It's been pretty brutal. But you know, I would say like the part of it that you know everybody, I guess I shouldn't say everybody is facing, but like businesses that are struggling currently of just people just aren't out going to eating establishments, right?
Right.
Like that's what our business is from. So like
Yeah.
that aspect of it has been crappy, right? Like sales as a whole, right? Down. We're like down 50% across the board. Sucks. But like I'm like trying to look at like the brighter side, right? Because it's like you can't control it, right? Like we can't control what's going on. All we can do is like try and move forward, you know?
Yeah.
And so I feel like in some ways it's kind of like helped us at least like reflect on what we need to do better as a business. You know, where do we have gaps that we can kind of like make up for? Really like showing like how much our team has been dedicated like to the brewery and the brand has been amazing too, right? Like everybody's on board. Fortunately, we haven't had to really get rid of anybody. You know, we have lost our tasting room hours. We've had to reduce some hours. So like our staff in our tasting room, we're very fortunate though that a lot of them had other jobs and this was like their second job, you know, working in the tasting room. So, you know, they were able to kind of go and fall into those positions and they get to pick up shifts every once in a while. But, you know, all in all, it's been really shitty, except the like reflecting part and like being able to move forward. Like I feel like businesses that are only like 3 years old rarely in year 2.5 get to just like put everything on pause and be like, how are things going? Right? Like, what do we need to do better? What could we invest in to make our business better? Like, where do we move next? And like, that's what's kind of been able to happen in 2020, right? It's been able to be like, psh, like slap me in the face and be like, what do we need to do to like better our business rather than just like continuing to like run in the snowstorm? Like, yeah, things are great. Like, let's just keep doing what we're doing.
Right.
You know? So for that side of it, I feel like it's like benefited us.
Yeah, and that's cool.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because any business that has been able to weather the storm, because not many have been able to. I mean that's. I have to be careful how I phrase this because there's a lot of people, you know, with their business, they just had 0 to -10 control of what was happening, you know, depending on the business that they were running and depending on where they were at as they were running their business.
Totally.
So it wasn't like they didn't try hard enough. They probably tried and then some, and if anything, probably had to like dip into like personal finances in order to maintain their business alive, which is
Totally.
like I have seen. You know, we have friends and acquaintances and commons and peers who have gone through that. And you know, not to like wallow on this on this downside of things, but you know, looking at the other side of that coin, you know, you talked about your work family, your team, and them being internet with you, not just with you, but, with everybody else. Kylie as just running, day-to-day operations over at the brewery. And then you have your partnership with Sushi Shack over at Lost Shark. So you have, that tasting room and the restaurant. What would you say was the big difference? What was it that you guys did in order to have everybody just kind of lean forward and weather this storm together?
I don't know if there's necessarily a big difference. I think that I've always been like pretty open, right? Mm-hmm. I think just like open lines of communication has helped a lot there, which is kind of letting everybody know like where we're at. Right? Like, man, this isn't going to be easy. Right. Here's where we're at. This is what we need to do to move forward. Right. Our goal is to be in business in 2022, right? Like, and my goal is that everybody that works here currently still works here in 2022, and I think that's been it, right? And then having like a strong, not just support group inside the business, but also having like a strong support group outside the business has been awesome as well, with friends and family and, also just realizing the situation we're in and just like, being able to get out of it, and so I wouldn't say that we've necessarily done anything like drastically different than anybody else. It's just, being open and honest. And the fact, again, like Lost Grove, we have 43 investors, right? Mm-hmm. And having their support, has been amazing as well. Right. And like them just, constantly, reaffirming like, hey, like we know this is a shitty situation. Mm-hmm. Like, and just like keep chugging along. Like we're here to support you, and being able to call on them and saying like, hey, tell your friends, come buy beer from us. Like you come and buy beer from me. Like, what can I do? And it's like, buy beer.
Yeah, like, just keep buying beer.
Like, just keep buying beer, right? Like, it could be worse, Like, if like that's what you have to do to support it. And so I think with that, that's really been the biggest thing is just like, I guess that for me too, it's like failure is just not really an option, and so I just take that off the table, right? Of like, what do we do? Like, how do we keep going? How do we move forward? And so I think that's, you just got to keep driving, right? And keep getting creative, and like we have some super fun projects that are coming that seem crazy and out there, but, like we're putting in a kitchen into the brewery. So we'll have food when it comes into it. We're turning our parking lot into an outdoor patio, which we did towards the end of the year, once we got it approved with the city. So we can just have like some fun things so that like when we come out of this, it's like, it's going to be like a whole new Lost Grove. Right. Not that like old Lost Grove wasn't amazing, but like new Lost Grove is going to be sweet.
Even better.
Right. Like even better, right? Like get people that were like, yeah, Lost Grove is great. Now they're going to be like, fucking Lost Grove's awesome.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I like it. So
it's like just trying to keep that like carrot in front of you,
Yeah.
I don't want to catch that carrot. I want to keep chasing it.
First, carrot chaser. All right, let's hit that first beer. On that note, before we move on to our next question. So what are we having again?
All right, we got our Hoos beer. So this is our, it's Norwegian rice wine. JT would be pretty upset if I called it our Norwegian like lager style ale.
Well, don't make your brewer upset.
Right, so that's not what it is.
JT.
It's a rice wine.
I like it.
Which I think JT does an awesome job brewing. I think he makes some of the best beers in Boise. I think that's an obvious of why I would say that. But, I mean, we've done a number of these like virtual tastings, and we continue to get just awesome feedback across the board, right? And so I don't think it's just my palate. But this beer was super fun because we brewed it specifically for, like you had mentioned, our Lost Shack location, which is like this partnership between the Sushi Shack food truck, which has been around the same amount of time as us and has consistently always made the best sushi. Hiroshi makes just the best sushi in town. And Dylan has been awesome, like marketer and things. So like, we decided to partner with them a year ago, which was like perfect timing, opened up in December, I can get the ball rolling, and then just bam!
Open up a restaurant and get a tasting.
Just right before a pandemic. It's a great idea, right? Like get it all leveraged in there. But we wanted something that would be like Sapporo, right? When you go to a sushi place, they got like 2 beers. And so there are always these light lagers.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to brew a beer that would be like our version of Sapporo. And so that's the Hoos beer. And JT found this super yeast strain that is, it can ferment at a really high temperature, but it doesn't create any off flavors.
Huh.
It's called Kvik yeast for any of you homebrewers out there that are watching. And we use the Oslo strain, but it's just like super clean. You don't get any of those esters in there from fermenting super high. It also doesn't give off any of that like baby fart smell like during it, so you don't have to like wait for all those to go away. That sulfur characteristic.
Yeah. Technical term, baby farts. No
baby
farts
farts,
here.
man. We don't want any baby farts in the beer.
My son had diarrhea 3 times last night.
It's brutal, man. Your whole house probably smelled like baby farts.
Yeah. That was something else, you know. He's 3.5, and I
You probably can't wait to get to the disappointed dad.
just getting the hang of potty training, and I was late for game night. Everybody's busting my chops. I was like,
Dude.
gosh, man.
I know.
It's all right. This is really good, though.
Say that's been the biggest disappointment. I haven't been able to do game night for like 3 months because of the shack out there.
Yeah.
Haven't
So a little bit of
worked out there,
context for
but-
people watching. So thanks to Jake, I'm able to be part of this, game aficionado, board game aficionado
Thanks
group
to
of
me.
gentlemen.
Why did I'm involved in that? Did I bring you to the first game night? I don't think I
Yeah,
did.
I thought it was you. Well, you introduced me to Drew. And
Maybe that
Drew
was it.
and Drew hosts most of the game nights, and I
Yeah.
guess eventually, like he invited me, or like somebody claims responsibility for that. So when we're talking
I'm trying not to claim responsibility.
we're talking about game night. We're not like rolling dice, That's a different game night. Our gambling is illegal in the great state of Idaho, but we don't do that. We play board games.
Yeah.
So yeah, very exciting things that I do now that I'm 40 and with 2 children and I'm married. But back to the exciting thing. What is the major note that you get when you're?
I mean, this one's just going to be a little bit of citrus. Really, this beer, the goal, it should just be like super clean. You're going to get a tiny bit of citrus notes. Some of the grain profile is going to kind of show through. So, like our base malts that we use is it's an Idaho grown product.
Nice.
It's also malted.
Let me try some again so I can get
buddy.
that note. Doing it for the note.
You.
It's
No,
quite all right. It's quite all
dang
right.
it.
Don't worry about it. Nobody can see it.
It's true,
behind
yeah.
the can.
Yeah, it's perfect pour, really, what it was,
Really,
yeah.
that's what it was. Exactly.
So you're not going to get a ton of like crazy notes on there, but it's going to get a little bit of like the citrus from the hops.
Right.
Really, what we're going for is just really clean,
Yeah.
kind of crisp citrusness in there.
Yeah, it's usually the kind of thing that you can just slam in a nice like spring or hot summer evening in a patio.
You're playing beer pong or something.
Yeah,
or
and you're smashing some sushi over at Lost Shack.
drinking sushi.
Or eating
Yes.
it, but depending, snorting it, however you want to eat, consume your sushi.
Right. It's delicious.
It's delicious either way.
I recommend snorting sushi.
You can,
though. Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
with wasabi. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean,
All
you were
right.
sweating last night when you came out there. So,
I was there last night for
Yeah, you got a
for an
little-
early dinner or
Yeah.
late lunch.
Or no, he wasn't. He wasn't actually there last night for dinner. I don't want your wife to get mad.
Fair enough. Thank you. Actually, you can say that because Madeline, I love her to pieces, and she's, she has my back and she supports me. I don't think she's watched a single episode.
Oh,
of
right.
my
All right,
Idaho
all right,
Reds.
all right, all right.
Like,
Nice,
well,
nice.
to be fair, I mean, she's a
Yeah.
physician assistant, and she gets on seeing patients, and like she's been kind of busy because there's a pandemic going around, and then like on what's today? Wednesdays. That's when we film the show. I know. On Wednesday, then she has to go get the kids so I can be here on time. So by the time she gets home, between the kids, the pet pig, and
The last thing she wants to do is stare at you.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
She
totally.
will stir my goofy ass later in the evening. So
Yeah.
so yeah, it's okay. You're safe. I
fair
appreciate
enough.
it though.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
looking out.
Yeah.
Cheers.
There you go. But yeah, this one. So Moose beer.
It's just it's like a glass of water, but
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
You know?
A little flavor profile to it. Yeah. Just a little citrus notes, a little sweetness.
Yeah.
From the malts. A little citrus from the hops. Nothing crazy.
What were you doing 10 years ago before Lost Grove was even a thing? What were you
Shoot.
up to?
You know what? 10 years ago, which is crazy. I had just moved back from Nicaragua
Oh yeah, perfect this time of the year.
to start Payette Brewing Company.
No kidding.
Yeah, December of 2010, I moved back. It was like December 15th or something like that. to help Mike start Payette. And
Right
so,
on. So yeah.
yeah. So got in. That was 10 years. This is like my 10th anniversary for being in the beer business.
Look at that! You
Didn't even realize it till you asked me.
Oh, cheers.
That's crazy. Yeah, cheers to that too.
We're very excited. Well, so you say it. So
So,
you're in
yeah.
Nicaragua because of reasons.
Yeah, stay on a
know.
boat.
Yeah, you're sailing about. Oh, gosh,
Yeah, why would you be doing that?
Living your best colonist lifestyle. I love it.
Yeah, totally. Expat, man.
That's bad. Sorry.
Yeah.
But you're in Nicaragua. You get back to the U.S. Clearly, you must be friends.
Yep.
So because nobody
Yeah.
just goes like, "Hey, man, leave like this awesome country during this awesome time of the year and come deal with the cold back in Idaho and let's start a brewery together."
Right. No. So yeah, Mike and I have been talking to like probably like 18 months before that. So I lived in Nicaragua for about a year.
Mm-hmm.
About like 7 months before that, Mike Francis, founder of Payette, still owner of Payette, he had reached out to me. I was working at Bitter Creek Ale House. I was the front of house manager down there. Was doing beer buying. So I was like had my in on like the whole, you know, how distributors worked and buying and selling beer and the prices. And Mike was living in Seattle working for Boeing and wanted to start a brewery in Boise. So he hit me up. We started chatting, but I didn't know how serious he was about it, right? Because we were like, I was 23 at the time, right? He was 25.
Okay.
So like my goal was like, I wanted to start a brew pub, but I didn't necessarily think it was totally feasible to do it like in a year and a half, right?
Right.
And Mike was like, "No, man, we're gonna open a brewery." And so he moved back right when I like bought my plane ticket to go to Nicaragua. He like showed up on my last shift at Bitter Creek. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get this brewery started." I was like, "Shit, I'm moving to Nicaragua." Yeah, he was like, "Oh, all right." I was like, "Well, let's stay in touch." So like we stayed in contact, and then yeah, he got funded and had a place, and I was like, "Sweet, I'll come back and help."
That's awesome.
So yeah, moved back and
What
started rock and roll.
what was the capacity? What was your role initially with Payette?
So I was the director of sales and distribution for Payette.
All right.
Yep. And so helped. So yeah, just ran the sales side of it. And then we brought on this dude, Rick Tooley, amazing man. He came on once we got into packaged products.
Okay.
He used to work for distributors.
Okay.
And he really helped launch our cans over there into all the different chains and everything like that.
Right, because they have their own canning system. They're
Yep.
one of the few microbreweries that have their very own, right? Because usually you outsource that.
Totally. And so like we're still good friends, right? Like he was the first person I told that I was quitting his brewery to go open my own brewery.
Right.
You know, he's pretty supportive of it for the most part. We're still friends today. I mean, they actually package up our products for us.
There you go.
So that's who, cans up our First Sight and our teddy bear.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Right
So that's
on,
what's
man.
cool about the brewery business, right? It's like we're all in it together.
Yeah, well, there's
It's a
enough.
shit show of business for sure.
There's
but-
there's enough to go around. I know. I can understand from a startup point of view. It's just like, oh my gosh, I want to go into the beer business, but it's so oversaturated with competition. But at the same time, like, yeah, like you're my friend and I support you, and your brewery is the closest to my house. It's just a longboard away, or a stumble away. But still, like, that's not the only beer I'm gonna drink. That's not the only beer I'm gonna
Totally.
have. You
Yeah.
know, it's like
Yeah.
eventually once the kegerator is done, I expect a keg to be there. You know.
Yeah, and I mean, I get pissed every time I see you drinking another beer. but
Right.
Yeah, it's not.
But yeah.
It's like a little bit of piss.
Yeah, just a little bit. But in reality, there's enough to go around.
Totally.
There's enough to go around.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Great. Wow, great story. I mean, I knew you you have worked and you have helped out at Payette, but I didn't know that was exactly 10 years ago. I had no idea you were living in Nicaragua. Before we move into the next beer, what were you doing in Nicaragua? Why Nicaragua?
I had a buddy, and this buddy actually is who introduced Mike and I to get. So Mike and I actually went to high school together, but he was a couple of years older, and we had a mutual friend that was in between us, who actually reconnected Mike and I, like in 2008. Was like, Jake, you should talk to Mike Francis. Mike wants to open a brewery in Boise. Mike, you should talk to Jake Black. So he connected us, right? Well, right after he connected us, his dream was to move to Central America and open a hostel. So he pieced out, moved to Central America, opened up this hostel, and he opened his hostel in October of 2009 and wanted to start a bar And so he hits me up and is like, dude, I want to start a bar right behind my hostel. What would it take to get you down here to help me start this bar? Plane ticket and a place to stay. He's like, done. So he bought my plane ticket, gave me room and board for just 2 months. He's like, come down here and help me open this bar. So I was like, all right, I'll be down there. So I left in December of 2009 and headed down to help him open this bar. And when I got there, we got this bar open, and I met some people that were running a sailboat charter, and I was hustling tours at night when I was bartending, selling tours to all these kids, right?
Nice.
Like, you got to go on the sailing tour, because these guys were like, every sailing tour that you filled up, you got to go sailing for free. And I'm an Idaho boy that's never been on a fucking sailboat, so I'm like, deal.
Yes, you got
so I just
it.
sold the shit out of sailing tours and just got to sail for free, a ton. And so I'd sail during the day, and then I'd go bartend at night, and it was sick. And then one of the guys that was running the sailing tours was like, all right, he'd been down there for a year, and his girlfriend still lived up in the States, so he decided he needed to come home to his girlfriend. And so they offered me a job as the first mate on this sailboat.
Wow.
So I was like, well, fuck, I guess I'm staying here.
Just
So-
from landlocked in Idaho to like the
first mate on a
Yeah.
sailboat. Yeah, dude, it was great.
And then
Yeah.
I just, oh god, I just think of Pirates of the Caribbean immediately for whatever.
I mean, it
reason. The
was, dude.
soundtrack
We got
kicks in.
demasted at one point. Our
What?
shit was wild.
Oh, okay. We'll circle
Back
back
to
to
beer,
that. We'll
back to
circle
beer.
back to that.
Yeah.
What beer are we about to drink right now?
All right, we got. All right,
Mate.
yeah, dude, you're telling me. Yeah. We had Hef1 with B. This is our Bavarian style Hefeweizen.
Okay, and just
So-
like Haus means house in Oregon, Hef means house in Germany.
Yeah, exactly.
I made that up.
I don't know if it does.
No,
Yeah.
it's not. I lied.
Yeah, I think Hef means wheat.
Yeah.
And Weizen means yeast. Fuck, I just read that. I should know.
That's okay. That's okay. That's all right.
It's wheat beer is what it stands for. So yeah, Weizen's beer. Yeah, so it's
It
wheat
works.
beer.
Okay.
Yeah. And so a wheat beer, like an American style wheat, they don't use the German yeast strain. They'll just use like their house yeast strain. That's like the biggest difference. So when you see like I always say like a Bavarian style Hefeweizen is because we actually use that Bavarian yeast strain that's going to give that banana clove. So if you smell that, you get like banana and clove on the nose. And also in the body of it, you're going to get that like banana-y characteristic. You get a little bit of like spicy notes, and that's the clove on the back end. And so it's just super smooth, easy drinking. But back to the difference. So like American, they'll just use like their regular house yeast strain.
Right.
And that house yeast strain isn't going to give you that banana clove, right? It's just going to be a wheat beer. So it's going to be still a little bit on the sweeter side. Still going to have that like cloudiness because wheat still holds those proteins. It doesn't have as much sugars that break down quite as much. And so, you know, it's going to be a little more full-bodied, but you don't get those juicy notes. Where for me, I'm a big fan of the Bavarian style beers, right? Because I like that banana clove. I like that little bit of sweetness in there. But it's not like overpowering sweetness. Jaime apparently likes it too.
Oh, I'm
he
sorry.
just slammed that one.
That was not my intention. It's a little glass. It's a very. It's a
They are. They're
taster.
tiny glasses.
Yeah, that's okay. They look good.
Yeah.
It just seems like
I feel like I'm talking a lot too. And
We're
normally
having a good
you
time.
talk more,
I
you know,
know,
and so you're
yeah.
nervous, so you're drinking faster, right?
Yeah,
I think maybe-
I'm very nervous. That's exactly what it is. That's what I'm known for, getting terribly nervous.
Yeah, you're like top of the list. Jaime, number one thing he's known for, nervousness.
Nervous.
Yeah, totally. That's it.
That's okay. That's good. That's good.
But this guy's fun. So my mom. So we did in 2019. We did our series. It's called our People series. So we brewed beers with influential people of Idaho. That we did, and with that we brewed a beer with like Mayor. We brewed a beer with a couple different bands that are friends of ours. The Ghost Town actually we brewed with Hillfolk Noir.
Oh, nice.
Not Hillfolk Noir, sorry. We brewed a different one with Hillfolk Noir. Okay. Ghost Town we brewed with Elin Jewel Band, which Elin Jewel, awesome. She's a local artist, but like world renowned. And then this one we brewed with my mom. So her favorite beer is a Hefeweizen. So her name's B. So it's like have one with B, but it's Hef1 with B.
It's just ever so clever.
Yeah, because
That's a
she's
cool
cool.
name.
Yeah. She does
Yeah,
much cool stuff.
she's cool, and she does amazing work for the community too.
Totally.
I mean, I met. Whew, I think I met you both, your mother and your aunt, before I ever met you.
Totally.
I met them drinking wine over at Talaya Wine.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, you should meet Jake. You guys will get along just fine."
My aunt introduced us.
Yeah.
Ingrid, who I think Byron and Ingrid are tuned in. Hey
Hi.
guys. Hope you're doing
No, yeah.
She
it
is the
was-
one that hooked us up.
Yeah, it was all her doing. And the thing with with Idaho, but definitely in Boise, it's like it's like 1 degree of Kevin Bacon instead of 6, right?
Totally.
So it's just like
Every time.
just starts connecting the dots. I think Ingrid, your aunt, did hair for a while.
Oh, still does.
Oh, she still does. Okay,
Yeah.
and I met her at like some weird little like networking event at like a yoga studio, and they do like the Reiki or the Reiki or the thing, the spiritual make you feel nice.
Like alignment stuff, alignment, like spiritual alignment.
Yeah, they do the things. Like I don't
Alright.
want to make an ass out of myself more than I usually do, and no, I don't want to be disrespectful either because I'm good at that on accident. I don't want to do that. But yeah, I met her and her husband there, and then we just kept running into each other after that. They were just a couple about town, and I'm like,
And it's Hillary's mom.
right,
Who you know
it's
so
Hillary's,
well,
yeah,
right?
exactly, Hillary Lee. So I I just kept bumping into her everywhere that I was going to network and do stuff, and it's just. That's how I met your mother, and then your mother was
How I Met Your Mom. Isn't that a TV series?
How I Met Your Mother. How I Met
Right?
Your Mother.
Isn't that?
Yeah, but that's not how it went down.
Oh, okay.
Your
Alright,
mom's
good.
a sweet
Yeah,
lady.
yeah,
Yeah. But she did work with Women's and Children's Alliance.
Still does, yeah.
And she
She's
still
the
does.
direct-
And
she's the director of the Women's
yeah,
and Children's
that's
Alliance.
right. That's
Yep.
right. And she's been there for quite a while.
Yeah.
And that's super important, impactful work that it's part of our community. And I think it goes without saying, but for anybody that's watching that does know you and your brewery and your business and your work family, everybody that works there, it's that is part of what your business model is.
Totally. Yeah.
Do you want to touch on that, or you want me to be more specific about it?
No,
I
yeah,
don't
I
wanna-
can
I don't
touch
wanna
on
steal-
it. I mean, she bred it into me, right? Like, because she's on the school board for 18 years as well. I mean, she would say it was to like give back to the community and to like, be a part of like education for students. I would say it was to make sure that I actually graduated high school. It's probably more of the reason why she was on the school board for that long. Which, give or take, either one's great. But no, she definitely bred in the idea of just like giving back to our community and support, and that's what Lost Grove's all about. I mean, we just applied in 2020. We applied to become a B Corp, which is sweet. Do we need to give something away? Are we at that time?
Yeah.
I feel like we're at that time, aren't we?
Finish that story. So just so you know, Erica is letting me know that we're past the 30 minutes to give away our first prize. So we're gonna do it, but we got momentum.
Okay.
We got momentum.
So our mission, right, is we're a community focused brewery for sure.
Yeah.
It's one reason why we sold interest in the company to community members, and then for us too, it's just all about having like a quality place of work, and that's what the B Corp mission's all about, is being a business used as a source for good, and so. We've been giving back to charities, even though we haven't been fully a profitable company since we've opened. That's always been our mission, is to continue to give back. We've got our Powerful Pints, where we team up with a nonprofit each month, and we, either try and get people to get out and help with that nonprofit if they need volunteers. We give a little bit of capital back, but we really try and just like promote their brand and explain to people who they are. And for us, it's just trying to just be good neighbors, and just support our community as much as we can.
Dude, awesome. I would say cheers to that, but I drank all the beer.
Do you want to know some more?
I want some more of that. I want some. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
one
the
and a
same
half.
thing.
Yeah, we still got
So I'm trying of course, not to be disrespectful. Haley Robinson, who's name says
great lady.
Hefeweizen literally translates to wheat beer with yeast, says Google.
Oh, there we go. See,
Thank
I was
you,
right.
Haley.
I was right,
Thank you,
Haley.
Haley.
Yeah, I was right.
I'm trying to.
Speaking of her, she started writing some of our beer descriptions because she's a good friend of ours.
Yes, she
hilarious. Nice work on those beer
And
descriptions.
she's really, really, really
Anybody
good.
that's tuning in, get on our website. I think we updated it with some of the new beer descriptions, and they are on point.
They're killer. She's
Yeah.
she's a first class type lady. That's for sure. Okay, we're gonna be giving away some shit, and not some shit. We're gonna be giving away our first free boxing plan with the legendary boxing coach Daniel Marion. This will take place again at SPG Idaho Combat Fitness. You want this class. Trust me, it is super fun. I've been doing pad work and boxing and a tiny bit of sparring with Coach now for a number of years, and like he's ahead of his times, man. He's ahead of his times. He's
nice.
just he's like this Jedi Yoda, kind of like a, well, not a Jedi Yoda, Jedi Master Yoda type guy, but for boxing. And he's so young, but you would never guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's just a good dude, man. He's just amazing. We did an episode with him. Great episode. Great story, from him to tell about like his journey into the world of boxing, the sweet science. Excuse me. Drinking beer. It's my show. I can burp. So. Jacob.
Am I picking?
Oh, you are most
I get
definitely.
to pick the lucky winner?
You get to pick the lucky winner.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
What do we got here?
Boom.
What do we got? Casey. Hamachi?
Casey Hushman. Coach. Casey Hush. So Casey's a friend of the show.
Oh, perfect, Casey.
So Casey's awesome. Casey's great.
I'm not very good at reading, so
yeah.
it's not my
So
fault.
you figured that since we're friends and like her family knows my family and vice versa.
Right.
My children call her cider auntie. Fun story about this. So Casey, thank you for participating. You get a free boxing
Box it
class
up.
with Coach Daniel. I'll put that over here. We're announcing it here. Don't worry. We're gonna We're gonna post the winners on our social media and stuff, so you guys won't be able to get away. You'll get your free class. But funny story about Casey. So what's it? My second son, El Chichi, as we call him. He's the second one, right? So like we're not as preoccupied as when like the littlest nugget was born. Your first one,
You're just like worried.
You're like
probably,
rookie parents are now. Fuck it,
Yeah.
So we had him out of the house. I think like after like 7 days. Like we were like, okay, like time to get out, time to be out in the world. And like the first place we took him was Meriwether Cider, our friends, Meriwether Cider.
Yeah, great.
Shout out to them.
Yeah.
And we went to their location over in Chinden because it's family friendly.
And the downtown one wasn't open yet.
Yeah, and the downtown wasn't open yet because that was
Right.
3.5 years ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
poof, that's all my kid is. I know this because I'm a good father. Dealing with diarrhea and whatnot with all the kids' diarrhea, my diarrhea. You guys don't care about
Yeah,
that.
he has to deal with that every day.
But right. So, but no. We show up and Madeline is exhausted because she birthed a human.
Seems like exhausting work.
8 days ago, and
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like giddy because I'm out of the house, and you can tell that she's happy, and if she's happy, I'm happy. And my oldest is just kind of like old enough not to fuck around too much, just fuck around enough in which is like I have enough patience for that.
Because what's the separation? What's the age separation?
It's like 2 years,
Okay.
a little bit
Yeah,
over
yeah,
2
yeah,
years,
yeah.
2 years,
Yeah.
2 years and a half, and like the level of fuckery that he was like giving out, I had enough patience for that. Like by then I'm on my late 30s, and I'm just like I can take it. I got this, baby. You sit down and you have a cider.
Yeah.
But I did have the baby, and I told her, baby, I got it. Now
Which baby?
the baby, El Chichi.
Oh,
yeah. I don't usually.
You were telling Madeline.
Yeah, I was telling
Okay.
Madeline. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's just like, so I don't usually like to use their names. And sometimes
Oh,
they spit out.
sorry.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not a
yeah.
big deal.
Okay,
No,
okay,
it's not a big
okay.
deal. But my youngest. So I have him on my arms, and then because of what I used to do for work, you just revolved around networking. So I was just trying to establish a practice with finance and things like that. So I was on Facebook a lot. I was on social media a lot. And for whatever reason, this lady just looks super crazy familiar to me. Just like, and then she looks at me and sees me and El Chichi, and she's like, oh my God. And she goes like this. And I'm like, oh, like Kelsey. And I hand her the baby because I'm like, fuck it.
Yeah.
You can have them, dude. Just you're right there. I'm right here. I know you from somewhere, and I have like the worst memory with names and timelines. So I thought maybe we went to high school together, or we
Known her forever.
or we met like a week ago, at like a network thing or at a different brewery, whatever. So my wife sees me and I'm kind of chatting with them, but they're holding the baby. So she's like, whatever, I'm having my cider. So she's just like, well, excuse me, no, I'm sorry, she's having one.
Yeah.
And you know, Uriah is kind of like walking around and like talking to people because he doesn't know a stranger. And we proceed to be there for 2 hours. In the full 2 hours, she's holding the baby.
You don't know her name.
Well, I think her name is Kelsey or something like it, which we now know that it's not. And she, you know, she's there with like her cousin, and which is cool because she's got like this like biker, like leather, like the whole get up because you know she's an actual biker, like a boom, boom, you know, like motorcycle biker,
yeah,
not
yeah,
like
yeah.
a, you know, not like
Cyclist.
not a cyclist, but like a biker,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah,
just,
makes sense.
I get those confused. English is a hard language, and
Agreed.
thank
Yeah,
you.
struggle with it all the time.
A biker? What kind of biker?
Yeah.
So, but no, it's time to like leave. It's time to like take it home. And I get the child back, you know, and I was like, hey, Kelsey, thank you so much. And she's like, who the fuck is Kelsey? All right, well, you know, like, you know, we met, like, we know each other, you know, from like Facebook. And it's like, I have never met you in my life. You know, I'm just like, and Madeline is like right over here, over my shoulder, just looking at me like, you gave your child to a stranger for like the last 2 hours? But by then I was like, well, we're kind of friends now.
Yeah, she just held her baby for
She's
2
had
hours.
her baby for 2 hours, and she's been. Well, we became friends, and I'm so super happy. Like you know, it's just a great relationship. I had the honor of marrying her and her husband.
Whoa, so you
You
guys became
know.
like good friends.
Yeah, like I married their ass, you know, like it's
pretty good.
It's really, really, really cool. Blake is an awesome dude. He's in the Boise Police Department, and she's a firefighter, so a match made in like, you know, not heaven, but
I feel like they don't like each other.
but it works.
They just
but
make
it,
fun of each other.
but
all the
it
time.
just works really, really, really well. So
Nice.
you know, so and you know, she participated in the giveaway, and I'm glad she got it.
Appreciate
So,
it.
way to go,
Hopefully you
Casey.
like some of these beers too. They're delicious.
Yeah.
Should we try this other one?
We really should, because I'm about to slam. Well, I'm about to taste this.
Okay, so not everybody that did pick up the pack, they might not have this one. Well, maybe they do. This is the Flamingo Fight. Oh, I grabbed the wrong one. I thought I had the other one. This one's the Flamingo Fight. This is the last of our other sour.
That's so
I
good.
think everybody might have, which is delicious anyway, though. A little bit of that guy.
Oh, look at that! Look at that!
So I think JT does the best. Like our sours are so good; they're on point every time. Like every time, just absolutely delicious.
That's a
This one,
formidable scent.
totally. This one was a rhubarb. I think it was a blackberry rhubarb. And this guy,
Okay.
which I know rhubarb's interesting. But like the tartness on that just goes really well. Tastes absolutely delicious. So I'm a big fan of sours. I think they're like a good like mix up between all the other beers that you're having.
What do you have a sour with? Because I like drinking sours just because they're sours.
Yeah.
Like for me, and hopefully this doesn't come across the wrong way, but to me they're kind of like a novelty item. But I enjoy them the way in which like this doesn't taste like something that I usually drink. You know, my favorite beers are stouts and porters, and then I started reaching my late 30s, and then my body was like, "You're gonna pay
Right.
for those stouts and porters," so I had to switch it up. You know, I'm allowed like a porter or a stout, like maybe like one every 2 days.
All right.
Otherwise, my wife kicks me off the bedroom because it smells.
Right.
I can't do that. I can't do it
Grinds
anymore.
in,
I don't
that's
know.
what-
Something
yeah.
happened. The IG
Yeah.
track is just like, fuck you, dude. You're 40 now.
Yeah.
So,
For explore.
so sours work for me, but I never know, like what would you eat as because that particular beer, delicious. My mother-in-law, hi mom, makes great rhubarb pie, and so does my wife. Love you, babe. Not that she's watching.
Yeah, we heard
But,
talking about
yeah,
that.
we're gonna talk about we talk smack
But you got to
about
throw it in there anyway.
Yeah, I do have to. I have to. What would you pair that with? What would you eat?
I mean, sours can go good either on like you can either like pair them up or you can like try and cut them. So like I think even some like sharp cheeses, like you go with that, or you go like on the dessert side and you actually go like super sweet, right?
What's a sharp cheese? Are you into fancy cheese? So I am new to this world because I've been married for I've been married for over a decade.
Okay, all right. So like hard cheeses, I'll interrupt. So like
Thank you.
like a blue cheese is gonna have sharp, something that's like super tangy, or like
Like a fancy
like
cheese,
a
like
sharp
this,
cheddar.
like the stinky cheese. Oh no,
You get like a sharp cheddar, yeah.
That's not stinky. That's
It's
like
not that
good.
stinky,
My
yeah.
wife used to like the stinky cheeses. Like she goes to the co-op and like I don't know what the fuck this is. I don't
But
know
it
if
smells
came
like
from,
shit,
a
but I
Go-
bet it's tasty.
Yeah, exactly. It
Yeah.
smells awful, which is like your sense of smell is just what's really gonna bring most of the taste. If
Totally.
you are to believe what the internet says, and then
It's real.
it's real. It's
Yeah.
real. That part is real anyway. But then it's just amazingly delicious, and it took me a while to develop that taste, But
Yeah.
so I gotta try it down with the cheese.
Yeah, so you can like cut it, right? And that's be or like with like fattiness too, can like help cut through the tartness
Okay.
as well. But I also just like pairing it with like sweets, right? Like now not like chocolate sweets, more like fruity sweets.
Oh.
Because then you're just like complementing it,
Okay.
right? Because you're getting that fruity sweetness out of the
Okay.
fruit that's already in there and the tartness, and you can kind of like balance it with that.
I hear you.
But I'm more of just like for a sipping beer, right? Sours like on a hot day.
Yeah, and that's
have
what
like
I
a
do.
nice sour, like
Yeah, like
Delicious.
I had to pivot the
Yeah.
stouts and the porters. My all-time favorite stout, breakfast stout from Founders Brewing.
totally.
And back when I was in North Carolina, that was the jam. And then we moved over here, which was the greatest thing that we could have ever done because this is home for both my wife and I. And there was no breakfast stout over here. And now you can get it, which is
Right, but did you ever
amazing.
have like the Black Buttes? Like they're 22, 23, now they're at like 30 something.
Yes, and that is really, really good. That is really, really good beer as well. But I think I get a combination of sentimental and bias because I associate that particular breakfast stout from Founders with about some of the best times that I had with my friends when I was.
It's all
locked
about
outside.
when you drink that first beer of like
Yeah.
the environment that
And-
you're in.
Yeah, exactly, and the flavor profile, if you may.
Totally.
That's what it brings me back to.
That makes sense. Yeah.
It's kind of like when like I mean I never like went like straight to college after high school. I went and was working and then I left for the military. But when when I drink like a Coors Light, which doesn't happen very often, but sometimes it does because why not, right?
Totally, yeah.
And then it's like you gotta hydrate yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
You drink a Coors Light, and I think of like my first like couple of years in the military because that was my thing. Like everybody was drinking like Budweiser, and I was a Coors Light guy because I was from Idaho, and nobody in the military is ever from Idaho. Fun fact, by the way. That's not true.
Well, there's not many of
That's
them.
not true.
We just
because,
don't have
yeah,
any we don't
Yeah,
have that
we're
many.
like the population density or
Yeah.
whatever. But when I was stationed out of 29 Palms, California, it was just like I was the only guy. It seemed like at the time in the whole battalion from Idaho. So I was like, "You're from Idaho?" Like, yeah, they all look like this. Yeah, I'm a dime a dozen.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Dime a dozen. Dime a dozen.
Yeah, I mean, the sours that we do, so we call them like our acid raindrop series.
Okay.
So we do a different one every single time. And I think I said blackberry. This is it's strawberry rhubarb because that makes way more sense.
Strawberry.
I don't know
Now-
why the hell it was blackberry.
When you're talking about your series,
So our last one was blackberry lemon. This one's strawberry rhubarb.
when you're talking about your series, right? You're talking about your beer series. Do you just let JT go wild, or is this something that the both of you kind of sit down and be like, okay, like what are we doing? Like,
I mean, he's got like majority control 100%, right? I
Which
think
keeps
the
him
biggest
happy.
difference, yeah, exactly. And I think the biggest thing is that when he gets a good one, I'll just be like, okay, we got to make that again.
oh,
And so that's kind of where it is. So like this year we brewed like 22 different beers, some of those out of that 22 were ones that we had brewed for previous years as well. But the idea is to just kind of keep having fun, right? And making new beers. And that was another reason why I like opening up, Lost Shack is having 2 outlets where we can sell them. Because then we have that opportunity to brew, just those like one-off beers that we sell. We have multiple outlets of ourselves that we can sell them a little bit quicker if they don't necessarily sell great. out into the general market.
Right.
Like
You
know,
can always move them within
yeah.
your own.
like
Yeah.
grilled cheese bikini, right? Delicious beer, terrible fucking name. Nobody wants to buy a grilled cheese bikini beer. Kind of like milk lemonade. It's delicious beer. People took it way too literally. We're like, oh, milk and lemon. They like curdle. Gross.
I remember that. I
Yeah,
remember.
no. Like, why are you just taking those names? You're like, disappointed dad. Like, what do you think that fucking tastes like?
Was Milk Lemonade? Was that like a year and a half ago?
I was like, I think that was the first stout that we ever made was milk lemonade. So I was like, we brewed it a couple times since.
Okay.
We'll brew it again.
Because I remember having that conversation with somebody over at the brewery, and they were like, "Well, why would I get that?" And I was saying, like you're a fucking asshole.
Have you seen any of our other names?
Like, what do you think that's gonna taste like?
Yeah. So now it's MML Stout. We had to switch the name to
Yeah,
MML Stout.
just make it
Sells a lot better.
Oh,
apparently. Yeah.
shocking.
So,
Well, that's pretty cool. I don't know.
But yeah, so he has like creative power. Now we've created like some series though, like our Lost series, and that's where we kind of tuck all those first beers, and then this is like our Acid Raindrop series that we have, and then we have our Session series. So those are like our lower ABV series.
Do you have like also like I think I've seen you guys do like some partnership beers, or like
Yeah, so that was like our
collaboration beers.
Yeah, so those we don't necessarily have a series yet. We do like our people series. The fun one that we did twice, so like we'll do collaborations with other breweries. And my favorite is like, I feel like with Payette, we kind of have what we call like our awkward series. So all of our beers have to have awkward in the name. So we did like Awkward Hugs was, one of the first ones that we did with them. And then, what was the other one that we did with them that had awkward in it? Damn it. I don't know, that's awkward.
All right.
I can't remember.
Well, speaking of awkward, JT, how do you...
Yeah.
You're a brewer.
Super awkward.
Sweet JT. How do you guys link up? How do you meet JT?
Oh man, we've known each other since we were 12.
Oh, okay. So it has been a hot minute, and you know, and he
Yeah.
and
So
he
was the second employee at Payette. So it was Mike, then myself, and then JT was hired to be Mike's assistant. And so then JT was one of the lead brewers over at Payette for however long, 6 years or whatever that he was there. Yep. He left to come do Lost Grove.
No kidding.
Yeah.
You had something to do with that, I bet.
Yeah, actually, Mike fired him.
Oh.
Yeah. So, because Mike found out that he was going to come to work at Lost Grove, and even though we weren't open yet, Mike's like, well, shit, I can't have you keep, like, working here and making beers. We're all kind of like, what the fuck? So, that was a little awkward. But
Oh, wait,
it was
you're
totally,
not kidding. You're not joking.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
no.
I thought you were fucking with me. Oh,
No,
okay.
no,
You're not fucking with me at all.
No. I mean, we're over it, right?
I thought you were honey dicking me there for a second.
made
I thought
sense.
you were doing a honey dick. Okay, no, so
Right? That makes sense. Like, if
yeah,
I were to find out, if like somebody was like, "Oh yeah, no, JT is going to go work for this brewery when it opens," I would be like, "Yeah, get the fuck out. You're fired, right?
You're fired.
Regardless if
I like
you
you.
know,
and
yeah,
we're
regardless
still good. but-
if I liked the guy that's opening the brewery, if I knew he was leaving to go work for him
yeah.
in a matter of time, yeah, I'd get rid of him too. So, yeah. But so he was planning to come work for us. It was just we were trying to time it better, right? Like he'd be able to keep that job for as long as he could until he got fired. But he's got fired a little bit earlier than we thought.
So here we go, startup time.
So then he became a laborer. So I just paid him to do construction while we built out the brewery.
Oh god. Great story, by the way.
Awkward.
We need to move to the next beer on that note.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
So while you're doing that though, so you've known JT forever, and just the
God, these nuts keep getting stuck in my throat.
that's
Story about life.
what somebody said. So no, you're good. You're good. So it's just like random chance you have known. So you met Mike through a mutual high school friend, in a different grade, and then JT you have known forever, and he just also happened to just be that his path later in life that he was going to be involved in the sweet science that is beer making.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, he'd always kind of want to do that, Mm-hmm. And we'd worked together at Bitter Creek So he was a bartender over at Bitter Creek for a long time, and then he was talking. He became the beer buyer when I left.
Really?
Yeah.
With all that personality?
I know, right? It's interesting,
Wow.
but he really shined.
Really? That,
Not at all. Worst fucking bartender in Boise, hands down.
Okay, I was gonna say
Really
who-
fast and efficient, but
Right.
it'd be like, you know, like Guy and Garth. Do you know Guy and Garth? Love them. They're like brothers. They're the ones that got me. In,
No,
like,
yeah, I
they're
know,
why
I
I'm
know
in the
Guy and
restaurant
Gar
industry,
because
right?
of my my sister-in-law or whatever.
But,
Doesn't
like,
matter, but yeah.
Total assholes. Right? Like that's their shtick, though. Right?
That
like,
is their
You go
shtick.
sit at the bar, so they like make fun of you.
Yeah,
right? You're
yeah,
like-
and they're like big dudes,
Yeah,
right?
big
They're
dudes,
always big
yeah.
Jack twin brother.
Yeah, they don't put up with shit. Like, you know, that's like the deal,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, like, yeah, JT was more on that level, right? Like, you're just kind of an asshole, which some people like, you know?
Yeah.
Sit at the bar, right? It's like, yeah, sweet.
But which I did. To be fair, though, the Gar brothers were always nice to me, just to be fair. But I have seen them be assholes to other
It's
people.
great, yeah.
And I'm just like, oh,
Yeah.
shit. It's like,
I
what
tell
the
them that
fuck?
all the time. Yeah, it's not like, you know.
No, yeah, it's not like they're not gonna get online and be like, oh, fuck you, Jacob Black.
Yeah, not at all.
No,
That's great.
no, yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of how that worked out. It's kind of
Wow.
fun. Yeah.
What are we drinking? Actually, I know what we're drinking, but please tell
Margot.
the fine people. By the way, this is one of my very favorite beers.
Yeah? Nice.
And I don't mean this in a bad way. Basic.
Totally.
Basic.
Super easy
Amber.
drinking.
People like get like, oh, like that's just like so blah. And I was like, you know what, motherfuckers? Like sometimes I'm sitting here at the brewery with my laptop, cranking out some work, and I don't need something that is gonna stimulate me too much. I just need something to just kind of get me through the last couple of hours as I'm sending out emails and responding to angry people, because that's what I used to have to do before, and like taking care of shit. And it's like that.
Not trying to party.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to party. They're like, I'm drinking a sour, and then it's like, oh, ding, 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 ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding, you know. But like this is more like, huh,
Just easy
we're just
going.
here. We're just like, I'm a boring adult doing a boring things, but I'm having a good time. Leave me alone.
Drinking a nice, good
Yeah.
amber.
Yeah. So tell us about the Margot.
Margot, it is. We use, I think something that separates it out from some of the other ambers is that we use a little bit of rye in there.
Okay. Okay.
So it gives rye when you put it in beer. Jeez.
You're fine. You're
Stop eating
fine.
these nuts.
But
When we use rye, it gives it a little more body. You also get a little bit of like kind of like some spicy notes, kind of on the back end of that beer as well. But really, I mean, JT didn't really want to brew an amber just because. So when you call it say basic, it's also just a basic beer in general on like the brewing concept, right? You're not adding a ton of hops, so like your hop addition schedule's like you literally add one portion of hops, and that's right at the beginning, and that's it.
yeah.
We've got like our malt build on this. We have like 5 different malts that we're using in there. You know, like a little bit of rye, a little bit of crystal malt, just our base malt. So like nothing crazy on the malt build. When it comes to like, you know, once you're done with on the hot side of brewing, on the fermentation side, it's like a quick fermenting beer because we're looking at like 5% alcohol. It's like all in all, it's like pretty chill. But I still think that it came out really nice, right? Like, like especially if you like butt it up against like other ambers, you know, like Fat Tire or Mac and Jacks or like any of those. Like this guy just I think holds its own right in the mix there.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, just easy drinking. And the name's great. We named it after our buddy's ex-girlfriend's cat, and that's just kind of funny. So yeah, you know.
Because why not?
Because why not? You know, he wasn't stoked, but we were. We thought it was hilarious.
Right. It's super funny, and she's kind of like, man, oh.
Yeah, just an easy drinker, man. Yeah,
It really.
it did taste a little funny when we first poured it in that glass because of that sour. Like when that first drink, I was like, whoa. And when you were like, what is this? I was like, I'm wondering the same thing.
No.
But now that I've had a couple more drinks, I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
okay,
there
okay.
it is. There it is. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. It's
Good
just,
stuff.
I don't know. It does it for me. I know it's not fancy. It's my go-to. Back in, oh gosh, when I started like getting into like craft beer, because I thought I was like, oh, like look at me, I'm grown up. and it was just
Still not. Yeah.
it's still,
No, I'm with
I'm
you.
working
Yeah,
on
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I'm working on it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
eventually,
Growing up. Yeah.
I am doing it.
Yeah.
Essentially, hopefully. But yeah, again, the whole North Carolina thing, and we started attending like they're having this craft beer festival here in North Carolina. This one in South Carolina, and this one in Asheville, North Carolina, where they have amazing breweries.
So many breweries that just flooded with breweries. Yeah.
Gosh, dude, it's the kiddiest.
I still need to get over there.
Dude, it's the best part of North Carolina. And everything else is nice too. Okay, there, I said it. But Asheville, North Carolina. Let's hold that thought because I had some
So
stories.
we get another
about
one?
that.
We get another,
But
throw another one
I
out?
think we're gonna. It's Erica's out here, so we're giving away something. We're gonna
snap.
give away another one.
That's crazy. That means everybody's been hanging out here listening to this for an hour already.
Probably not.
Yeah, that's a good point. We're really just talking to ourselves right now, aren't
We're
we?
talking to ourselves.
Okay,
That's
fair.
great. But it'll be
Yeah.
great on YouTube later.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, my friend, get in there and do the thing.
What do we got here? Mary Kate Johnson.
Mary Kate Johnson.
Mary Kate Johnson.
All right, that's outstanding. Way to go, Mary
like
Kate.
it.
Maybe she'll do it. Maybe her significant other will do it. Maybe she has somebody that she wants to give it
What
to.
a great
It
late
doesn't
Christmas
matter.
present, maybe.
Exactly,
Even?
and way to kick off 2021. Boom.
Yeah.
Again.
Literally. Oh wait, no.
Punch
Yeah,
out. It's not Muay
2021.
Thai,
No,
which is
Muay
my
Thai.
jam. Yeah, I know that.
My bad,
were
my
thinking
bad,
of.
my bad,
They
my bad,
teach,
my bad,
they
my
teach
bad.
that, and they train you that over at
right.
Combat Fitness, SBG Idaho. So yeah, fear not. If you want to transition into that, they'll hook you up.
Nice.
We had an interview with Jesse Brock, owner and lead instructor with Muay Thai, and he's also a Jiu-Jitsu black belt. So, and, you know, of course, he used to be BSU wrestler, college wrestler.
I was gonna
and
say that
also-
name sounds familiar.
Yeah, and then also, professional mixed martial artist. So, he knows a thing or two about combatives. So,
Yeah.
you're a good guy to have, coach you and train you in the arts, if
I
you
like
may.
it. I like it.
So, what was I talking about?
You're talking about North Carolina.
Yes,
and the
so
beers and
I
breweries
thought,
down there.
So my team chief in my team, you know, he was really big. He claimed at the time that he was really big into craft beer. So he was pretty snobby about it. And I was like, I wasn't snobby about it, but at the same time, it was just, excuse me, there's only so many Coors Lights I can slam. And I have actually had Guinness in Ireland, and Guinness in Ireland is different from Guinness here, stateside.
Totally.
And it's just like, sad face. So I was always like looking for something that will somewhat match that experience. So I was really big into porters and stouts. And back then, in my younger shelf, in my younger body, this could handle it.
Nice.
And I would drink a 6-pack of stouts or a 6-pack of porters the way that you're crushing those nuts. It was no big deal.
Right.
Bring them on,
Right.
So high ABV, psh, what, girlfriend? But yeah, him and I ended up getting really deep into Dogfish Head beers, right? So it was 90
Totally.
minute or nothing.
Yeah.
And then we
Overrated.
at the time for us that was
Agreed.
that was the
yeah.
pinnacle
Back-
because I'm looking at that was like the very, it's not the beginning of craft brewing, but that's when it started becoming very popular, and a lot of it was because of them. A lot of it was because of Dogfish, and then they
For
came
the
out,
East Coast.
Yeah, over there, because that's where I
Yeah,
was.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So then they came out with their 120 minute IPA, and then that was like the thing. Like if we were not going to so we were in Cape Fear, 45 minutes south of Camp Lejeune, or in the Hampstead area, and North Sail Island, Topsail Island. Is the nuts. The Topsail Island,
I'll get you.
they have this little tiny craft brewery store, and it was just a matter of becoming friends with them and be like, hey, like happy to pay for it ahead of schedule. And he was fair. He was cool, but he was fair. He was like, hi man, like I'll save you a 4-pack because you're paying for it and you already bought like a box of beer over here, like a different like 6-packs, and I put my own box together.
Right.
So I just kind of, because that's how you make a business owner happy. Like I'm spending money on you, but you save me this
Help me out when it
4-pack
gets
of
here.
120
Yeah.
so I can impress my friend Dan, that way I can get it before him. And that was my thing. I would just try to irritate him as quickly as I could by having beers that he couldn't get his hands on. Because living over there, like if you had to go to get any good beer, you had to do a 45-minute drive, either north or south. And who the fuck wants to do that? Not me.
Oh, really? Back in the day?
Yeah, well, where we were at over there, we wanted to not live in Bay, so we were 45 minutes south, and then the other closest town where we would be able to get something along those lines would be Wilmington, North Carolina. And it was always, I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal until you were like, now I have to drive back. Because if you drive down there just to get beer, you're going to chill, you want to have one, and you're having like a craft beer, it's probably, not always, but chances are it's going to be high ABV. And now one of us cannot drink because, Maddie and I have to drive. One of us will have to drive. And it's just kinda
Yeah.
like, ugh. So, but yeah, that was like the entry into the craft beer world for me. And then we started attending like all these different like miniature, like, no, I shouldn't say miniature, but small like craft beer festivals. And so there were always the bigger ones, but we were always trying to go to the smaller ones. And oh gosh, what's the name of the brewery? There's this amazing beer they make. It's called Sexual Chocolate. And I was able to snatch up a T-shirt because I love the logo. It's just beautiful. And
Because it says sexual chocolate on it.
well, yeah, it's not just because it said it. It's my oldest T-shirt that I own outside of like some high school ones that I have.
Nice.
And and it still holds. But at the same time, it was also like a little bit on the ridiculous side. Like they only make so many. And it was a matter of like, the brewery would announce on their website,
Wait
like,
in
like
line.
sexual, and then we like people like waiting in line. The rumor has it, and I don't know that was true. I cannot verify whether it's true or not, but there was like always like a handful of people that will kind of like make it a thing, and they will camp out. Like the way you camp out for like a new PlayStation coming out.
Totally. No.
And, so that was the thing. Oh gosh,
I went to one of those in Portland, man.
No, important.
Yeah.
I just get the feeling I'm gonna remember the name of the brewery at like 3 a.m. Erica,
So,
can you find out what brewery makes Sexual Chocolate, please?
go.
Thank you. You're the best. Sorry.
No, so like, there's a brewery, Hair of the Dog, in Portland.
Yes, I'm familiar with Hair of the Dog. Yeah.
Yeah, Hair of the Dog. So when I was at Bitter Creek still, this is back in like 2008 or something like that, me and JT drove over there because, which don't tell anybody, but Bitter Creek wanted to put Hair of the Dog on, so it's totally illegal. But I figured we could celebrate. And we went and we got to the brewery at 6 a.m., right? For this beer sale that started at like 8. And we were probably like the 400th person in line. Like it was 2.5 blocks we were away from where you could buy.
That's
Insane. Like insane. Like isn't exist, at least not on the West Coast as much as it used to. Like that was a thing back like
I have
only
never,
like a decade ago.
The only
right?
time I have heard like the rumors and the way that it was explained to me, that was like that was in Asheville, North Carolina. Thing,
Yeah.
in which like people were just camping out and
It was mind
But for 400, that's a lot of people. Erica,
Foothills.
Foothills Brewing.
Foothills. It just,
Interesting.
thank you so much. You're the best.
Foothills.
Gosh, she's a gift. Best thing ever. No. We get Foothills Brewing, and they had like this, like limited amount of T-shirts over at this like very. I don't want to sound. It sounds snobby, but it was like it was supposed to be like somewhat like exclusive thing, and I was able to snatch up tickets through the owner of the small like craft
That you kept
food place.
bribing to
So,
get
right,
beer.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh no, well, not bribing. It's good business, really.
Yeah,
Because it's not like he was saving me
yeah.
like a case or a keg. He was just sending me like a 4-pack
Right.
or a 6-pack here and there of different little things.
Yeah.
Like if I could keep my hands on breakfast stouts. Like he knew that he will have me as a lifetime freaking client. For as
Kentucky
long-
River Stout all day.
for as long as I was there. And when Madeline got into brewing, because she did, like, that's what I got her for one Christmas, like her own little like small brewing kit. She wouldn't bottle it. She would just keg it, which was, as my youngest will say, the tippy top.
Totally.
The best thing ever.
Totally.
And she will do. I was able to find her. It's called a clone recipe of that founder's breakfast stout.
Nice.
And then like we didn't then at that time have to drive anywhere to get it if I missed out on. Or
Was
if
it
I
close?
ran on
Did
my
she do it
4-pack.
pretty close? Did she get it close?
She wants to start brewing again,
Sweet.
and I mean I think this once our youngest stops shitting himself. We'll
When you both get your diarrhea problem under control,
Yeah.
maybe she'll get back into the brew.
Yeah, we'll be there. We'll be back in the brew. And then I'll give you a call. Like, hey, man. Like, oh, gosh. Okay, all right.
I
all
can
right.
drink breakfast stouts again.
Yeah. Here we are. So, have we been drinking the same thing? I lost track.
Yeah, we can go. We move on. We
It's
can go
very
to
good.
the
Yeah,
Giraffe
let's
Horse.
move on. Let's move on.
Speaking of stouts, we're gonna go to a stout right here. Guinness that you talked about. I think this beer is great. It's very similar to Guinness.
Oh, man.
Delicious.
Look
American
at that.
stout.
Shout out to Kai, Giraffe Horse.
Exactly. Old Giraffe Horse here.
Is she down in Georgia still?
She is.
She's
Yep.
doing the Georgia thing.
Doing the Georgia thing.
Good for her.
Yeah, she'll be back
Have a great trip.
Saturday.
She's still having it.
Yeah. No way is she tuned into this. She's like, I also don't need to see. It's like your wife. It's like she's my work wife, right?
Yeah,
Like,
she's your work wife. No,
Yeah, she's like, yeah, I don't
Why
need to
would I like? No, I
see him talk about beer.
I
all
got
day
better
at
things to
work.
do
Yeah,
with my time other than like
100%.
work.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh man, I'm so glad. Oh gosh. So I had
Yeah,
this
this was good.
before.
It's delicious.
Yeah, I
Little
don't want to
roastiness.
come across braggadocious, but at the same time, it's just. I have many local breweries, near and close to my heart. You are one of them. Bear Island Brewing is one of them.
Ooh, we just get mood lighting for
Uh,
our stout time.
For our stout time.
I like it.
Something happened.
Ooh,
I'm assuming Sweet Baby James is responsible for the inside and the bag. He just made it happen.
Well,
Yeah,
cheers, bud.
Cheers,
I mean,
dude.
When's the music gonna click on, right?
Right? Eclipse of the Heart. God, this is good. But yeah, I have.
Yeah, nice little roastiness in there.
Being a big fan. I've been a big supporter.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And no,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not the only one. Have a brewery client.
Yes.
And I remember, you were still, working at Bitter Creek while also like doing everything you could, to get the brewery started. And I would just be talking to you about this concept. And I was brand new in my line of work too. Like I had just left the Marine Corps, moved here, started, my work, and I started with insurance and then transition.
Yeah. How long ago did you start with New York Life?
Oh gosh, I started in 2015.
Okay. So you'd only been with them for like
Right
2 years, not even a year and a half.
Right about April, yeah. And then I was still just kind of like, it was one of those things where like I was still new enough that everywhere I went wearing a suit. Not kind of sort of how you saw me like my last 2 years, where it was like.
You just didn't give a shit anymore. I think it's really what it was. You had 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out the door. You were like, screw this suit thing.
I mean, I love wearing a suit, but I just like all the fucking time. It's just like, fuck. No. Eventually I found like, I was always really struggling because I wanted to wear something a little bit more casual that didn't have to be like a suit or like a tuck-in like shirt and a tie. And the closest thing was a polo. But then I was just
I'm
like...
surprised you didn't score on the pandemic.
I just-
Because you could have just done Zoom meetings, just not wearing pants the whole time.
Right,
Right?
which
Just had to do the
who
top.
says I didn't?
You could have got rid of half.
Who says I didn't? Who says I didn't? But no, I just like, like, and I have a couple of polo shirts, and it is what it is, and it's cool. But it's just like, I always felt like I didn't want that look of like the fucking like bro at the yacht club with like the not wearing the socks and the shoes, and it's just like felt like a like Ivy League rapey vibe. Like I just thought, and that's probably an unfair blanket stereotype statement, but I don't give a fuck. Like it just seemed really like not my jam,
Right.
When I wasn't out like fucking golfing with the boys. Not that there's anything wrong with golfing, but fuck golf. It's just there's only 2 times that I have had fun golfing.
I love that. That's what that just changed to.
2 times. And both times, the common denominator, it was James,
With brewery people. You're golfing with brewery people. That's where you had fun.
Yeah, over at Barbarian Brewing. James, Bree, and Zane, and it was just like, oh, hi, Barbarian. It was the
Good
only time.
folks.
And
Yeah.
and the way they keep score is, they have a smiley face system. So like at the end of every hole, we all look at each other and it was like, did you have fun? Did you like it? Is it a smiley face or a sad face? Smiley face or a sad face? And depending on the amount of smiley faces or sad faces, that's a smiley face or a sad face hole. And then once we finish 18 holes?
It is.
Then at the very end, if you have the most smiley faces, then we like pack up and
Fucking
have
win.
beer.
Yeah.
Not that we were not drinking the whole time. But if you have a bunch of sad faces, then you pack up and then you have even more beer. So it was like the greatest experience ever, right?
Right.
And like I remember like missing the balls and like not like the sticks, the golf clubs, excuse me, like were not like sized to me. That's what they are, Jacob. That's what they fucking are. They're goddamn sticks. And you're hitting this miniature ball, going this tiny little hole because somebody decided that something that was going to be really fucking frustrating and difficult was going to become a sport.
That's great.
It is so not exciting. Like I'm watching fucking golf on TV and it's like watching the grass grow. Like who the fuck watches this? And they want to throw that shit in there. Is it in the Olympics now too or some shit like that? Hopefully not.
Now?
They were
it's been in there for years.
They were
dude.
trying to get rid of wrestling, which has been around since the Olympics was the Olympics.
I agree. That was outrageous.
They can go
That was outrageous.
suck a fat one.
I guarantee they still
serious-
probably are trying to get rid of it.
Fucking golf.
Blame the Scottish.
Blame the Scottish. Thank you, Justin. I think hopefully I wasn't quoting like the bit from the great Robin Williams when he's like doing the whole thing. Oh no, I cannot do a Scottish accent, but it's just like absolutely.
But I do have seen that. That is a good one.
It is a
from
good
Robin
one, but
Williams.
I just like whenever I watch that, it's like like who the fuck does this? And people are like really passionate about it. So if I offended you, it's 2020. Get over it. I still love you, but fuck, man. Like I like it was different, because when I went with those guys, and it was just non-pressure, and it was awesome. And any other time
Totally.
that I have gone, which has been like maybe 2 or 3 times, I was like, I'm gonna create a toxic environment because you guys are just messing with my vibe. Like, when are you gonna hit the ball? And when are you gonna like blah blah blah? And I'm just like,
It was gonna shake your ass. I don't think anybody that you're golfing with is asking you to shake your ass.
It was
man.
just odd, and it was just weird. And there will be like the guy with the polo with the pop collar calling me bro, and I was just like, like if you ask any of like my Marine peers, I was the snowflake guy. I was be the guy like, all right guys, like let's just walk away, like let's just not get into trouble, blah blah blah. But whenever I was in those situations that involve golf or like a golf club, I was just, I'm gonna be fist fucking somebody's face.
You wanted to fight everybody?
If somebody doesn't bring me a cocktail or like a fucking couple of
Where's that
beers,
cart girl
like
at?
some shit's gonna go down because I'm just here marinating on hate and discontent. Fun fact about me, I'm a very angry person. And it's like, and the whole thing, like I even end the show every time.
Angry
It's like,
or angry?
both.
Okay, fair enough.
And
I just was wondering if it only kicked in when you were hungry or if it was just all the time.
But it's just like, but like, like I'm a father now and I'm 40 and like I'm not nearly as like,
It's not as cool to just be
I was
angry all the time.
It's not like I was ever like badass or anything, but like now it's just like I need to keep that spiciness in check. I'm just a goofy, scrawny guy.
Right.
It's just I just don't want to be out there, skylining myself. But gosh, those experiences with golfing with people that were not brewery people. I'm a little. I hate using the word. I'm a little triggered. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, yeah, like literally golfing got mentioned, and you just went on a 10-minute tangent about
Yes,
how
yes,
much you
yes.
hate golf.
So
I thought we were talking about
I want to
this
talk about
stout.
this. Is
You
my
know what I mean? I thought we were talking about giraffe horse.
Fucking golf.
I go, man.
I'll fight
Note to
everybody.
self: don't bring golf up anymore.
I'll fight everyone, and I don't care. Just like
Giraffe horse though, nice roasty notes to it. Right? It's only
very good.
you're only 5%. Just
For a
but
stout, it's very niche.
light bodied. It's just very easy drinking.
I'll crash that fucking golf cart to the clubhouse.
Now you're mad at me for taking you off the subject of golf.
No. But I got it. Yeah, I was. Of course, I got plenty of friends at golf. My good buddy Andre. So he moved from Idaho over to, West Virginia. Virginia or West Virginia? Which one is the one that is less rednecky? The one that is less racist. Which one is it? Is that West Virginia? The one which one's the one? Do they both have like water access? Geography. It doesn't matter. So
West Virginia's got water access.
Okay, so let's just go with that one. And he gifted me a bag of clubs.
Sticks. Bag of
The
sticks.
bag of sticks. The bag of sticks that you hit the white ball with. And
Are we still talking about golf?
I'm just saying, eventually, because clearly you golf. I like you. And you're not going to be like popping your freaking collar on your polo.
I wear my Christmas sweater, man.
That's good. And we'll have a good time. Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers. Anybody can have their own show.
No, yeah, it is. It's your show. Yeah, if we want, you know what? We can keep bashing on golf. That's what we're doing.
If you're a golf business and you would like to be a sponsor of My Idaho Friends, you can reach me at jaime@myidahofriends.com. I will set you up. Man, will we raise We'll increase your sales and absolutely help you with any of your
Great
business development
idea.
needs.
God, I hope somebody actually reach out and gives you some money.
I'll fucking golf with a smile on my face.
Back 9, baby.
Not wearing a fucking polo.
Finish that one up. You need a little bit more of that, I think. Giraffe horse. So Kylie got
Yes.
a tattoo of how we got the name. If we're talking about how we come up with the name of giraffe horse,
Please do.
Kylie got this sweet tattoo of a giraffe because that's her favorite animal of all time. Because giraffes are pretty sweet. And so she got it. It's right here on her bicep. Maybe it's on this arm. I don't remember which arm it's on.
It's on the left arm.
But yeah, so it's a giraffe.
I think so.
But when she flexes, then the giraffe gets smaller and it looks like a little horse.
Yeah, the
And
neck.
it's adorable. Yeah, because the neck just shrinks.
neck just
the rest,
shrinks.
the whole body
It's
stays
like
the
over
same.
here,
Yeah,
but the neck-
just shrinks. It's fantastic, and so it looks like a little horse, like a little pony.
Yeah.
And so when she first got the tattoo, we mentioned that to her, and she was not very excited about it. And so then along came the beer called Giraffe Horse because we couldn't figure out another name for this stout.
I would feel you were going with
what we do.
maybe like giraffe snort.
Giraffe Snort.
Have you heard
That
her
would have been
laugh?
pretty good. Yeah.
You're like,
That
wow.
would have been pretty good.
Best thing ever.
Yeah, it is pretty good. I know. Maybe that we could do that with. We got another double IPA that we actually just JT just brewed today.
Oh.
That we're trying to figure out what we're gonna name.
What's JT's favorite beer to make?
Grilled cheese bikini was the favorite beer that he's made.
Fucking Buddha bless him.
It's he just really likes the low ABV with a really nice hop presence.
So you can just keep on slamming.
Yeah, because he loves hoppy beers, but he likes to drink 10 of them.
Yeah, and,
So
and some
you
of
know
these
when you're
high-
like trying to drink like a 6.5 or 7% beer.
yeah, you have to be careful with yourself.
Yeah, it
and
doesn't
if
work.
you're
Yeah.
a young lad
Right.
in your prime, or a young lass, or a young there,
Totally.
you're not gonna be pacing yourself because there's life to be lived, and this drink needs to get done so you can get your nut.
Yeah.
another
So
one.
yeah, exactly. So I think that's his favorite beer that he's made, because it was just this like really fun, like hoppy up front, but it was like 4.2%. So it still had like a ton of flavor, easy drinking, but just light ABV.
Yeah.
So when we try and actually do that quite a bit. Like I'm the same way. I like the lower ABV beers. Like we do these higher, like these doubles, because I mean they are delicious. People love them. People want them.
Right, yeah.
Right?
They come in a different chalice. You
Yeah.
gotta pour them on the fancy glass if you may. And you sit down, and you can be a
Right.
little bit snobby. You can,
Or you want to get your buzz on pretty quick. You only got time for a beer.
Yeah, you only have, perhaps you have 2 kids of ages 3 and 6, and a wife that is, wanting you home, and
Right.
you're like, my time is precious, and I gotta get this so I can take it home, and perhaps drink it before they come home. Yeah. I'm assuming some people out there.
Some people might do that.
You might want to do that.
Some people
Yeah.
might do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Projecting.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's a rough day. You just
Yeah.
need some beer.
Or it's just
You need
that,
a little higher ABV
or
beer.
like the year ends in rhymes with 2020, and and you're just like, it's Wednesday again, except it's Monday.
Right. It's Tuesday.
That
You know?
Yeah.
Fuck, it's Thursday.
Yeah.
Right? And
The
you
O
another
and
beer.
we Y, and it's just like,
Yeah.
Groundhog Day,
I guess I'll have another one.
and you're still at home.
Yeah.
I started talking to the squirrels, and like not like talking, but like during the real the heart of the quarantine, and we're doing our very best to be at our best while staying at home and working
Right.
from home.
Opposite of what we're doing currently.
Yeah, currently, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wasn't, and you were right.
Right.
Like I wasn't wearing pants. Like I was
Yeah.
going around and just like
Playing with squirrels, not wearing pants.
not playing with
Nice. I
squirrels.
wish I had that on video.
But I would like go to my kitchen, I would look out my window, and there would be like these 3 squirrels like effing around. And I was just like, I bet they're friends, And then, and of course it was like Bobby Joe and Katie
started
Sue.
naming 'em?
Yeah, Katie Sue and Billy and Bobby Joe, had like a meth addiction that he recovered from, and and Sue, was like a hooker, but with like a heart of gold, and just like it was
Created
like
a
a
whole
whole
little story for
dynamic,
it?
and I was just like, that was my quarantine.
Is that at the point when you went outside when you didn't have pants on?
That
See
was
if the
that-
squirrels
that
would come
was-
play
that-
with your nuts?
That was March, April for me. I'll never fucking forget. I should write a fucking short story or a book about it. But I was just like, and I had these like small like on my Instagram, I had like this like series of pictures, and I would just like prop my phone because I would like have mimosas like anybody that was going through like March and April over here in like the whole world, and I would just put on a shirt, and I would just like be on my underwear, and I would like snap a picture of my day, and it was just me staring
At
and
the
it-
squirrels.
and I always held like a cup of coffee because I was still working for like corporate but again I also am not wearing pants, and I just didn't give a shit, and it was a mimosa, orange juice or color,
In your coffee cup.
in my coffee cup
That
in
was
my
a real thing.
underwear. Yeah.
I remember when you sent me that picture. Said I'm working. I remember. I'm working on your stuff right now. Now I know.
That's
Jaime.
true, yeah,
Now I
because
know.
you were a client. Thank you. You're a client. Yeah, I took great care of you, fucker. You settled that. It was a good time. It was a good time. It was the best of time. Everybody was dealing with it differently, and I just, like I couldn't go to the gym, and we were super crazy lucky that eventually the kids were able to go to daycare, but there was a while that they couldn't. And my Madeline, my baby mama, my lovely wife, she was essential, and she had to be at the clinic. It's just she had to go to work, and it was
That's
just
crazy.
like,
Yeah.
like I like my house and I can be a homebody, but like holy shnikes, man. So yeah, so the squirrels, they were great. Squirrels
Wild
were great.
times.
Wild times. Wild times.
Wild time.
I can do a lot of push-ups. It's like probably the best thing that came out of 2020. I was just like, oh my god, I can do a lot of
I
push-ups.
gotta just do push-ups all the
It's
time.
just like the best thing. Yeah, it's just like boom. Yeah. Anyway.
Love it.
on.
Should we try Disappointed Dad? Should we
I-
get into Disappointed
I
Dad? Where are we
think-
at on time? I mean, are we
I don't think it
Disappointed
matters
Dad
because,
time?
again, like, if you have friends, you can have your own show.
We-
Thank you. Thank you,
Oh,
Art.
is it
Light
time
on
to
the
give
half
away?
hour mark. Look at that. So we're going to give away yet another. I'm just mixing it up a little bit. Muchas gracias, señor.
All right, another little boxing around here.
Do the thing. Ooh, I like it.
Jamie. That's it.
Okay, so I'm so glad you brought that
Or
up.
was this Jaime?
No. That's Jamie spelled like Jaime. Jaime.
yeah.
No, which is great. And, you know, her Instagram name is the Dame Jame. The Dame Jame. So, I don't know what her last name is, but she follows a couple of other people that follow us on the My Idaho Friends Instagram. We'll get a hold of you. We'll find you. Way to go,
DM.
Jamie.
DM it. Is that how that works,
I am
right?
going to DM it, and it's going to be on the Facebook, and it's going to be on the Instagram, and the DM is going to get sent out.
Right.
And I'm going to make a post. It'll be on the story and all this other stuff, so people know it's legit. I want people to get their prize, because if they don't get their prize, I'll give it to somebody else. So make sure that you take advantage. If you can use it for yourself, great. If you want to gift it to somebody else, that's awesome. You're going to have a great time, Jamie. Way to go. Congratulations.
We got some boxing women in this room.
Yeah, I know. 3 ladies back to back. It goes to say,
That's
the
awesome.
ladies like the show. The ladies like the show.
Oh.
What?
Yes,
I'm an ally of
Nice.
women.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
it has nothing to do with this cashmere sweater that my sister-in-law
Right.
gave me as a Christmas gift. Thank you, sister-in-law. Emily,
nut.
she's awesome. She's up in Ketchum doing her thing, living her best life.
Nice.
Congratulations to her. Finally, she just bought a place for her to live in.
No way.
Yeah, she's pretty amazing. So I know this is totally unrelated to the beer, and we're going to talk about that, but she has been living in a van. Her van. She turned it into like a living van situation, and she just, she's kind of like
Sweet.
Kane on Kung Fu. Do you remember the old show from the 70s that was supposed to be Bruce Lee, but then it was David Carradine? You don't? That's okay. I won't
don't.
judge you. I was
Yeah.
a big geek into those kind of shows. But yeah, Kane used to walk the earth and help people in trouble with his kung fu, and he was.
And he lived in a van.
No, he didn't live in the van,
Oh.
but he traveled the land. Emily travels the land, but she travels the land in her van.
Oh,
And she,
nice. Yeah.
what she called? Oh shit! Was it Candy or Baby? Candy. I'm gonna go with Candy. Hopefully I'm right, because she'll get pissed. She doesn't watch this either way, so none of my family do. I'm so glad I have friends, because they're the only ones that watch this shit, and it's like 2 of them at a time, and definitely not Kylie, because otherwise we would have heard something about giraffe.
Giraffe horse. Yeah,
she'd have
for
been
sure.
pissed.
Yeah.
But no, no, she has a bed in the van and a little kitchenette and also other stuff, and she rafts, and she has her boat on top of the van and all this other shit, and she just kind of travels all
Sweet.
over, and she was
Yeah.
bartending, she's young.
She bought a
and
house
she's
up
really good
in
at it.
Stanley or Haley or
Condo apartment type place, and a nice
Sweet.
little she
Yeah.
she's been hustling and working hard and doing her thing. Very proud of her. And and that's where her community's at, her friends, just this kind of ski, snowboarding.
sort
Also,
of her Lost Grove.
yeah, her Lost Grove, absolutely.
Fly on
yeah,
your Lost
exactly.
Grove, man. Yeah.
Exactly. She also does paragliding. I think that's what it's called. So that's her jam,
Awesome.
and she
Yeah.
has to be near, a body of water, a river, lakes and whatnot. So, and she hikes, and she's done fucking ultra marathons and all sorts of other shit. Amazing kid, and she's just living
Really?
her best life,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's good for her, and I'm happy for her. And I don't know how we even got talking about her. Talking
No
about
idea.
a van and kung fu.
Yeah, Kung Fu in a van.
Kung Fu in a
I
van.
think that came after we brought her up.
Let's talk about this beer. Oh, she got me this beautiful cashmere sweater, because when would I ever buy me a cashmere?
And that's why
item
the
of
ladies
clothing?
watch this show.
And that's why the ladies watch the show. Because I now have a cashmere goddamn sweater. Boom.
That's it. That's what it was. Oh, everybody just tuned out, huh? Disappointed
no-
dad is what we have.
We have lost all viewers on the stream. Disappointed dad. You know, I was calling this disappointed father for the longest time.
I feel like I heard you say that once or twice. Yeah.
I will come to the brewery from work and I just be like, God damn it. You know, and I was just
Disappointed dad just rolls off the tongue so much better. I don't know why you're throwing father in there.
I don't know.
Disappointed father doesn't even sound great.
Well, like I don't know. I don't know why. Like the boys call me daddy. My oldest son, sometimes he'll get spicy and he'll call me Jaime, and I'll just look at him like, you fucking little shit. And I don't say that, but in my mind's eye, in here.
Madeline calls you daddy.
No, she doesn't.
Emily calls you daddy.
She definitely doesn't. Nobody. My children. That's it. Settle down. But yeah, I don't know. Disappointed father just seems like it has a stronger tone. Father goes with disappointment.
True.
Way,
Yeah.
like, disappointed dad is like,
my
like,
father was disappointed in me,
like-
not my dad was disappointed.
yeah, like
in me.
dad was disappointed because I forgot to take out the trash. Like disappointed father is like, dude, like you did some stuff.
Yeah. Like
I was
really
about to,
disappointed.
like, oh my gosh, like you went ahead and like embezzled like
It's a lot of things.
a lot of things,
Yeah.
and then you just kind of like gamble the family money, and now Timmy cannot get like
Shoes.
yeah something. Let's go with shoes. So that's why. Let's talk about this IPA. It's delicious, by the way.
It is so good. Yeah, it's a 9%er.
Mm-hmm.
But on this one too, the hops that we use are just super fun. So we use like the Mosaic and then Centennial and Chinook hops in it. But this beer has, so like First Sight is still, we use quite a bit of hops in that beer.
Yeah.
And in breweries, we'll say like, pounds per barrel.
Okay.
Like how many hops we use per barrel of beer made. And for First Sight, we're at like 2.5 pounds per barrel. For Disappointed Dad, we're at 6.5 pounds per barrel.
Oh.
So it's significantly more hops in this beer, and that's where you just get like that big nose, that like juicy like sweetness that's in there is from the hops, and then like 9%.
How did you manage to keep it so balanced if you're using so much hops? Is that just JT's secret? What's he doing?
Well, I mean, man, I think he balances all the beers pretty dang good.
yeah,
right?
but
Like,
that's a lot of barrel in your
and not be
IPA.
like overly bitter.
Yeah, because that's as I developed my craft beer taste, I started growing. I started to grow tired, wary, if you may, of IPAs, because like
Totally.
every brewery, right, has to have
yeah.
an IPA. Every bar, your IPA, and I was just like, okay, that's great, but it shouldn't like kick you in the teeth with the hops. This doesn't do that. But
No.
it delivers on the character. It delivers on like
Still dries it out on the back
yeah,
end.
and your aftertaste, yeah,
Your little
it's just like,
bitterness. It's just all about your hop schedule, right? So when it comes to like bitterness and sweetness and everything like that, it's just like when you add your hops on the hot side. So that's like during like the boiling, when you're making beer, it's like the whole goal is you're taking starches, you're putting those starches in a little liquid to convert them into sugars, and then you're taking that sugar and you're feeding it to yeast, right? That's like the simplest version of how to explain what you're doing with beer.
Yeah.
Well, within that process, when you have all this like sugar liquid, you don't want it to just be super sweet, so you got to add hops on the hot side, and that's when we're doing that like sugar conversion
Right,
to
right,
balance, just like cooking, right? Like you got to add some salt to bring out flavors, right? Or you got to add some little bit of sweetness to something that's really bitter, right? So that's the same thing. Like when you're making spaghetti sauce from like tomato paste,
Yeah, I'm very
right?
familiar with
You got to add sugar.
Okay.
Right? You got to add some sugar in there. Otherwise, it's just going to be like really acidic and like bitter, right? And so it's the same thing on when like with beer wise, you want to add some hops because you just got all this like sugar water in there.
Okay.
And so it's depending on when you add them throughout the boiling process is how it's going to reflect on how bitter it is, and then like how much of like the juicy notes you're going to get like at the end of it as well.
Dude.
Maybe I went a little bit too deep.
No,
there,
no.
but,
I like that.
So
No,
that's
but
the idea, right?
I'm
So then
I'm
it's
like
just
processing
all
that. Yeah.
about like your hop addition. So like today, when we're brewing this other IPA, so JT just brewed another double IPA. So this will be the third double IPA that he's brewed.
Okay.
And he went a little bit bigger on our bittering units addition with these hops. right? We added a little bit more hops on that bittering side, so we're a little nervous that it might come out like a little too bitter, but we'll see. And if that's the case, then we'll have to like cut it a little bit by overcompensating on maybe some of the hops, like on the dry hop side of it, right?
Interesting.
But
I'm glad you went into great detail about it, because I don't think, that the untrained ear out there, or like somebody who enjoys beer, but they just enjoy it because it's enjoy. Like nobody gives a shit. Like the process of your goddamn fucking Coors Light taps the goddamn Rockies, right? Which, by the way, I like Coors Light, but it has its place just the same way like any Idaho Vandal likes their PBR, and I didn't go to school there, but I can enjoy it when the time is appropriate.
worst beer ever. Hate PBR.
When I'm broke, I'll drink it.
So gross. Not a chance.
When I'm broke, I'll drink it. Don't be.
All the
smart.
rest of them, I'm in. No, my buddy just tricked
Hey
me
man,
one
that's
time.
just the golfer in you, okay? You just
Oh man, no, my buddy just tricked me one time. I drank way too much of it. I can't drink it ever again. It's the worst.
Did you drink too much of it?
Way too much of it.
I think that's probably what it is. I have never drank too much of
It
it.
was gross.
I'm cautious with it because it doesn't taste very good. I won't say that it's gross, but it doesn't taste very good.
Yeah.
But it's got its
But Disappointed Dad, delicious.
absolutely amazing.
And the name was just hilarious.
And just
I don't even
super
remember how we
balanced.
got up with the name.
I don't know. Whenever Mindy is at the is disappointed dad, I'm like, and if I'm working, it's gonna be a Margot, your Amber. But if it's a weekend, and I happen,
Disappointed Dad all day.
and if the kids happen to be with my in-laws, or perhaps Madeline's just out with the ladies, it's just disappointed father. Excuse me. Disappointed dad all night long.
Right, it's so good.
Because I ride my bike. Because you're so close.
Exactly.
So, I don't think she's on anymore, but we had our friend Tira Erickson.
Mm-hmm.
Tira's really cool. She's a mutual friend. Oh gosh, what's her prior? Oh gosh, what's her last name before she got married? Tira and I went to high school, and Tira had the celebration of life for her father over at your brewery.
Oh, yeah. Robinson? No.
Yes.
No.
Wait, not Robinson, but
Menzel.
Menzel.
Yes,
Yeah,
the Menzels.
Yes, the Menzels.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Nice. I haven't seen her in such a long time.
No,
yeah.
it was just really cool that
They were neighborhood. Yeah, they were neighbors with us.
She was a high school friend. Actually, all the way from the time that I moved to Idaho. Migrated from Panama, moved to Idaho, went to North Junior High, and that's where I first met her. And
Nice.
we were homies throughout the whole time, and high school and whatnot. And we had never lost touch through the magic of social media, because every once in a while, social media can actually be a good thing, except this year. But no, yeah, it was really good to see her. It was unfortunate that it was, and I take celebrations of life very seriously, because as part of like the culture and where I'm from in Panama, that's like a big part of it. There's a celebration emphasis, and which is like there's like this party aspect of it. It's all not just like gloom and doom and wearing black and just have it be
Totally.
like this heavy thing. Right?
100%.
So to see her and to have it be at your place, that was really, really cool. And for her to lose then her mom, who I got a chance to see when I was there, and for her to handle everything with just grace and class, it was just awesome. So anyways, Tara, if you are watching still, much love to you and your family.
Serious.
From Jake and I. Cheers, my
I know, I
friend.
need a little more beer.
Yeah, please do it, or I'll drink it.
Oh,
I ain't
you'll
scared.
definitely be able to have the rest here, buddy.
I'm not scared of your beer.
It's delicious.
It is very good.
So what else? You got any other random questions about Lost Grove that need to
I
be
do.
answered?
Because now we talked enough about JT. That little rascal. He's a good guy. What about you though, as far as like the beers go? So like if you had to narrow it down to like your top three, what are your top three beers? Whether they are like your regulars or whether like a special,
Right.
series, limited series or whatnot, whether it's a collaboration, what's your jam?
I mean, the sours are my good. Like all of the sours that JT's made are absolutely phenomenal. I love all those ones, hands down. Milk Lemonade. truly, not only because I just love telling people that that's my favorite beer, but I'm also have always been a big dark beer fan. Yeah, and so that beer I think JT just hit on the head right out of the gate, and is absolutely delicious. And so we haven't made that one actually. We didn't make it in 2020, and so we are owed to make that beer because it is very delicious as well. So I think those, like that series of beers when it comes to the sours, and then Milk Lemonade are definitely my top two all around. And then our IPAs, I mean, I couldn't necessarily put one above the rest. I think JT's always done a good job with like you said, of like balancing the hop additions. I mean, I went through a phase where I was drinking a ton of IPAs. And then I just got burnt out. Like I stopped for like
This is what happened to me.
2 years. Like from when I quit Payette until Lost Grove opened, like I really didn't drink IPAs.
I quit for like a couple of months, not about 2 years.
No,
Yeah,
I like straight up like swarm off. Like didn't drink IPAs, and then once we got fired back up and I started drinking our IPAs, and like the balance that they have, and just like that hop character at the beginning, where you get that like big juicy notes on a lot of them, and just throughout the body, it's like those. I feel like JT hits them on the head like every single time. Like they're perfect. And so I just like those because I think that for our portfolio, I think he's just able to hit them like spot on every time. And so I think that's maybe one of the reasons why I like them. But yeah, they're just delicious. So Milk Lemonade, I'd say. That's the one that I would like be like, that's my beer.
I like that. That's pretty cool. It's a tie for me.
Yeah, what do you got?
And I know it's not very sexy, it's not very exciting. I could drink Margot all day long. Super easy.
I love it.
Super simple.
Yeah, I love it.
Like you know,
Yeah.
it would be like Clint Eastwood's like character in Gran Torino when he's pulling out like the old freaking 6-pack of PBR and just sitting on the crunch and
Totally.
you know, I could do that with a Margot, but disappointed dad, which should have been named disappointed father. Yeah, I cannot have too many. Well, eventually, as I continue to mature and grow older, eventually I'll retire, and that will be something that
You
I
just
will
drink
be like,
disappointed dads all day.
Now I just don't care.
Right. Right.
Mowing my lawn in my underwear, talking to the squirrels. I don't give a shit.
No, I mean that beer. I think we get the most requests when that beer goes away. When it's not on tap, I think that beer gives us like more people, or either it's more people or it's just the squeakiest wheel, right?
Gotcha.
Like it's one of those two. But like our staff's always just like, when are we bringing Disappointed Dad back? People keep asking about it. When are we gonna have Disappointed Dad back?
And it's a good name. It's a good name.
It's a good name, so it's catchy. I mean, but we also get a lot of like our dark beers in general. I think, not just from that, but like our Space Peanut. We get a bunch of people asking for like our Space Peanut, which is really good. Which is like our hazelnut brown ale. It's basically like a peanut butter brown,
Okay.
which is tasty. And then Ghost Town. Every time we don't have Ghost Town on, like that one's delicious. So it also has to do with like Boise, just the water content for Boise. So like our alkaline content and like the actually just bodes well for dark beers. So it's like that's one of the reasons why like Boise Brewing has done so well with their Black Cliffs at the Great American Beer Festival. It's just that we just have really good water for brewing dark beers. So, which is crazy, right?
I did not know that.
Yeah. So it's all about like your pH levels, and so the pH level that like our regular water comes in at, it just like fits for a dark beer profile.
You're talking about like tap water.
Yeah, like city water.
Yeah, city water.
Yeah.
You know.
Totally.
That's crazy interesting. So, of course, I've been here, and I'm also super biased because I love me some Idaho. I love me some Boise. This is where we live.
As we all do.
So, like, tap water. I'm like, oh, it's the greatest water in the world. My friend, my friend Mandy came over, with her daughter, my goddaughter, Riley, and they just, granted, they came all the way from Florida. And they were like,
Nice.
dude, like, the tap water tastes like ass. And I was just like, shut your mouth. Not in my house.
Right.
And I was just like, what the deuce? And I was just like, well, maybe I just been here too long. And I'm just like drinking the tap water. I was like, what the fuck? And I just drink some tap water from somewhere else. And I'm like, it tastes just fine. And they just could not stand
Our
the
tap water.
Yeah,
Really?
or tap water. You know, now they're coming like
Right.
Idaho and Florida. That might as well be a different country.
Totally.
You know, so like I wasn't holding it against them, but like in the back of my head, I was like, have I been here so long?
This water tastes great.
Yeah, no, yeah. I'm just.
I guess
like,
there's a Brita filter that's on top of it. Whatever.
That's
worked
right.
out
And
there.
we didn't have a filter.
Yeah, I asked for tap water and they just wouldn't bring it to me.
I'm a tap guy.
Right, yeah.
I'm a tap guy. Like my finest tap water. Thank you,
Right.
guest. Boom.
Serious.
Here you go. But that's really neat. That's something that I didn't know. So no offense, just about anything and everything that you have said, I knew a little bit about. That I had no clue. I learned something new today.
Interesting.
Thanks to you.
Oh, well,
Thank you.
hey, you're welcome.
All right.
I'm out.
Yeah, mic drop. And here we are. No, that's really cool. Okay, so we have tasted all the beers. This is what people can somewhat expect without my goofy, crazy ass, you know, in the virtual tasting because it's just you. Excuse me. I'm sorry, Idaho.
Dark beers, man.
I'm sorry. Dark beers.
Damn it, Kylie.
It's just yeah. Giraffe.
Giraffe horse. Got me again.
Darn it. Sheesh. Pardon me. Excuse me. So yeah. So this is the thing now. You know, which I think is really cool. You know, you're pivoting everywhere you can in order to keep on going, to keep on moving. You know, to go back like about an hour and a half ago. You know, just saying like you know, failure is not an option. And then, you know, necessity is the father of innovation, or however the saying goes. I'm terrible with sayings, but I keep on trying because I love them.
Yeah, you might as well. You'll make a new one up that's
Yeah,
better
it's
than the
really good.
original,
Yeah,
right?
for the longest time, I was just like the freaking straw that broke the donkey's back, and like they
Right.
kept the joke all the way throughout high school until finally somebody was like, "No, Jaime, it's a camel." I'm like, "Wow, 2.5 years, you guys been laughing because I've been saying it wrong."
Yeah.
Thank you, Boise High, class of '98. Fucking jerks. I love them though. And to keep a secret for that long.
It's great.
And everybody laughs behind your back. It was pretty good. It's pretty good. But this is what happens. Freight train. But so,
Pivoting.
Yeah, pivoting and doing all the things. As of right now, transitioning from 2020 to 2021 with the business, you know, innovation, virtual tastings, expansions, you know, turning the parking lot into an outdoor drinking area, if you may. With I think you have or planning or already have like a Connex box out there that you know you can get beer from, so nobody has to come inside. They can just get it all outside. You know, you have a beer club as part of like you know.
So yeah, so we got our social club.
Yeah, social club. Yeah.
Which actually ends tomorrow. So yeah, we're only keeping it open until the end of this year.
Mindy's gonna be so pissed because she's been telling me about it for like 4 months and I'm yet to sign. Because
You
I'm
better
gonna
sign
do it
up,
right
dude.
now.
You better sign up tomorrow.
I will do it. I
Yeah.
will do it.
You can sign up
tonight.
online. Go to our website.
Well, then- beep, 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 beep.
Sign up online right on our website.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got our social club that we got going on. We're fencing in the parking lot. And so that'll be a full-on outdoor beer garden. Ideally, you know, the goal there is to actually be able to, we'll always have our music out there, but to actually be able to have like concerts out there at some point in time. You know, and granted that's due to, you know, how much this vaccine pulls through, you know, and people's comforts. And, you know, regardless though, come springtime, I mean, we're still going to be able to have live music out there and make sure people are socially distanced and, you know, be able to enjoy themselves. And then we're pulling the Connex box around, so we'll actually have a little bar out there.
Nice.
We got this sweet concept called the Nug Hut. And so that's the kitchen that's going in. So it's a brand new concept. Nothing like it in the U.S.
The whole country.
In the whole country. Probably the whole fucking world, honestly.
I like it. I like it. Yeah.
It's nuggets, gourmet nuggets. So we're talking
Gourmet
like steak,
nuggets.
caramelized onion, blue cheese nuggets with like different gangster dipping sauces. You know, you can have like a chicken cordon bleu nugget. Like in March, we're gonna roll with like a Reuben nugget. You know, so you're gonna have a little
Why
like
not?
sauerkraut, like some corned beef, like breaded in like a rye breading that you're gonna dip in a Thousand Island dressing. Bomb, right?
That is really exciting.
It's gonna
Okay.
be so good. Bunch of different salads. So the Nug Hut's gonna be dropping. It's probably not gonna drop until sometime in like April, So we're getting that built out, which is going to be sweet.
That's a lot
Um,
sooner than I thought.
Yeah, man, we're rolling it out. So just submitted everything to the city literally today. So we're gonna get that rocking. Yeah, so we got a bunch of fun stuff. Cans, like never would be in cans if 2020 hadn't taken place. So now we're in cans. So ideally, we're gonna continue to expand that distribution into other outlets throughout the Treasure Valley, and ideally in the future, throughout the state. Okay. So we got a bunch of like things that really would not have taken place had 2020, really not come around. So, yeah, so it's fun, exciting, it's crazy, kind of scary, right?
Yeah.
But really, it's not that scary because 2020 really like kicked me in the nuts pretty hard. To where right at the beginning that was scary, right? Like the unknown, and now it's like known. Like I feel like there's not a whole lot left. That's like, like what do we do? Knock on wood. Right? But like, yeah, another pandemic comes. It's like, fuck you, pandemic. I guess this is what we do again.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
like short of like zombies, like yeah.
Right.
Like,
Which that would be sick, right? If zombies came, like if it was a full-on a zombie apocalypse.
It depends.
Bring it, like yes. I mean, that sounds crazy.
Like, I know.
Like, yeah, like what else are we gonna do? Like,
yeah,
we can't do anything else.
Yeah.
There's zombies now, so yeah, that's just how it works out. But so. Yeah, so all in all, we're very excited for like 2021. Yeah, I mean, and again, we can't. I personally can't thank like our staff and everybody and like all my coworkers that I get a chance to work with every day, and like we can't like thank the community enough for like helping us out, and like all of our partners in this business, right? Like have just been like utterly amazing and just like so helpful, and just still super excited to be a part of it, and just like stoked that we're like keeping to push through, right? So like, yeah, it's been a roller coaster of emotions of a year, but all said and done, it's been pretty amazing. So, which sounds weird to fucking say.
No,
right?
And it's really cool because at the same time, you answer what was going to be the next question, which is somewhere along the lines is going to be, what's the highlight of what was the highlight of 2020?
Totally.
Because I like to get that first question, almost 2 hours ago when we were just like, well, like or crying. But it's really cool, and it's really cool and bittersweet because I really wish that everybody would have had the opportunity to have been able to pull through. But to those that didn't, that are still hanging in there, my heart goes out to them. And then for those who are thriving or who are somewhere in between there, keep on keeping on,
Yeah.
And the momentum has to continue. And like you mentioned, it's a community effort. In no way, shape, or form can that be like, oh, like I did it. Like no fucker. Like
not a chance.
Not a chance. There's the word community gets thrown out there a great deal, but like the proof is in the pudding when the rubber meets the road, and this is like the ultimate proof in the pudding. Proof is in the pudding, rubber meets the road scenario, in which like well, what the fuck are you doing? Like what do I need to do, and how can I help you, and can you help me? And it has to be a mutually. Not because it has to be mutually beneficial, but it's just so much easier and faster to get to the destination, whether that's treading water or whether that's excelling, and whether that's business, family, and like anybody that was, imagine like people like going through school and then graduating this year and things along those lines. It's just like, holy shnikes, man.
Oh, I feel bad for like all high school kids that were like, I was a big sports kid, right? Like,
right.
That would have sucked, right? Like,
like
sports got canceled in the spring. Like, you don't get to play your senior year.
Right.
Lacrosse.
And a lot of people, they could argue, like, well, that's such a first world problem. And I was just like, yes and no. Because like at that time and in that age when that's what you're all about and what you've been working and you've been putting forth like years of of like training and effort, and that this is going to be your last dance, or again the last dance,
right?
It's an odd weird thing, and my heart goes out there, to all of them. I know you have mentioned it a couple of times because there's like so many other things. Where do you see yourself and Lost Grove, regardless of what we have been through, or you can call it maybe perhaps hopes and dreams, and it's 2020. What would you think 2030 And I know that's pretty far out there, and
Yeah.
that might be unfair, but I'm curious, whether that's something you have given it some thought or not.
No, I mean, I think first would be to still be in business. That'd be number one. But I mean, more importantly, I think would be that we're just we're still a major component in our community. That we've become a B Corp, and not only have we become a B Corp, but we've really become like an example of what a B Corp needs to be. And then we're basically an ESOP at that point in time that I've been able to give away, and not necessarily give away, but have ownership more into our employees, and to have our employees to have more ownership in the business, and to have that continuing to grow. For us, I'd love to see a few laws changed in this state to allow Lost Grove to be able to open up other locations throughout the area and throughout the state, because currently the state of Idaho doesn't allow breweries owners. You can only have one additional location, and it can't be a manufacturing site, and the owners can only own one other brewery, and so there's just some laws that need to be changed that I would love to see changed as well, so that ideally Lost Grove can have a few more locations throughout the state to help provide jobs, and
growth, opportunities.
Yeah, and opportunities. And just to continue to be like a major contributor to giving back to this community and help and support. I think is probably the biggest thing that I want to see by 2030.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are we? Is it that time?
Yep.
8 o'clock.
Okay.
Give away
it's
the last
that
one.
Time. Okay. So this is gonna be for the special ones.
Ooh, the double?
These ones are gonna be the doubles. These are a whole batch. These are you guys. Maybe you're watching, maybe you're not, but you went ahead and purchased the virtual tasting pack. And what that wins you, if we pull your name out, it just gives, well, not just, it gives you 2 free personal boxing classes / workouts with Coach Daniel Marine. Get in there, Jacob.
What do we got here? Cecil, welcome.
Cecil, welcome.
Cecil, welcome.
Alright, so we'll get a hold of you, Cecil.
Bop.
Welcome. Way to go. You get the 2 classes. That is great. That is good.
Nice work, buddy.
Yeah.
Thanks
way
for
to
tuning in,
go.
sir.
No doubt, no doubt. Okay. So we have come to just
Come to the
near
end.
the very, very end. We tasted all the beers. We talked about your business. We talked a little bit about, the heart and soul and the mission, statement for what Lost Grove is. We talked about your work family. We talked about your family. I might have ranted a little bit about golf. and a few other things. So with that, I know you have talked about it, but we're gonna go ahead and say it again. Anything, this is your shameless self-promotion segment right here for my Idaho friends. That's your
Word.
camera right there. You let them know. Sweet Baby James will focus on you. You let them know. You let the people here in Boise, in the Valley, and all of Idaho. Anything that is coming up. What do you want to promote? What do you want to say?
I think the biggest thing for us is we just appreciate the support. Please continue to support us. I mean, our cans. So we got our Teddy Bear Picnic and our first site that we did Shred a Day, but those are in your Albertsons and in your Wincos. Picking those up help us out a ton. We're about to get into some super tough times when it comes to January and February. Those are always just hard months in general. I would say if you think your 2021 New Year's resolution is to have a dry January, you should cross that off the list. And you should turn that into support your local craft brewery.
Yes.
And please come and pick up 6-packs and pick up your cans of beer. You can get any of our beers. Because honestly, January and February are the hardest months of the year for breweries when it's not a global pandemic and people are normally just coming in. So, I think that'd be the biggest thing. But honestly, we can't thank you all enough for tuning in, because obviously you're supporters, and we appreciate it a ton. And we're super excited for this summer. So come check out our new patio. Come check out the Nug Hut, because it is going to be delicious. And yeah, check out the live music and please enjoy all of the tasty new beers that we're going to come out with. So we're probably going to come out with another 20 new beers in the year 2021. So
right.
come check us out.
Awesome. Outstanding.
And Jaime, thanks a bunch, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You're very welcome,
Always
my
super
friend.
fun.
You're very welcome, my dear friend. Okay, so the wrap-up time. Idaho,
Jaime's
2020.
worse. I just meant by you hate rapping.
Right. Whew. So yeah, episode 32, of course. Jacob, thank you for helping us here on our grand finale for My Idaho Friends 2020. I always thought, holy shnikes, with this little project, we'll knock out 8, 12 episodes, and, that would be a high five. And here we are on episode 32. Anywhere between 15-minute content to like 2 hours plus, and I didn't expect you guys to sit and watch all this, but if you do, thank you.
You're crazier than we
Big
are.
shout out and thank you, to Argus Productions, to Justin, to Erica, so sweet baby James out in the back that was making us look good. This
Thank you.
doesn't happen without them. Please, 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 if you're watching, if you enjoy the content, if you like the content, if you're a fan of the content, look them up, check them out on Instagram, check them out on Facebook. Again, Argus Productions and Argus Stream TV. Thank you
Was
so
it
much.
Argus?
Argus.
Argus Productions?
Argus. Argus
Nice.
Productions. Absolutely. Thank you so much, you guys. And then, of course, thank you to all of our guests. So we have 32 episodes, and I think right about like 29 to 30 guests because we had some repeat guests. Big shout out to them. Many, many, many thanks. I most certainly appreciate people's times, especially during a year like this, which is, of course, your most valuable asset, and you could be spending that time with family, with loved ones, and instead you chose to spend it with us, and that means a great deal. Now, for you, Idaho, hey, of course, I always love you long time. This is my home. This is all for home. This is a special place to me, and there's a lot of stuff that has happened. Not just because of the pandemic, but also because of many other things. And it has been rough and it has been tough. A lot of people are going to be coming towards the next couple of days and tell you, how much they have been able to accomplish, how much they've been able to do. And that should not make you feel bad if you don't necessarily feel that you're in that space and you're in that stage right now, especially in a very challenging year like this. So if you were getting through the year and you're here and you're still there, you should tap yourself in the back. You should give yourself a high five. It's okay for a year like this, in which there's a global pandemic, to be surviving, because not everybody gets to thrive. And I'm thinking of you, and my heart goes out to you, and that's who I'm thinking of you. That's who I'm thinking of the most. So don't make yourself feel any lower or don't. It's already been hard enough. You don't need any help as far as like making yourself feeling down. Just be grateful and be glad that you're here with us still. I am grateful and I'm glad that you're here with us. If you're on the other side of that coin and you're thriving, and for some reason you somehow, one way or another, you were able to get a leg up, you were able to get a head up on a time like this, I hope that you have had the opportunity to reach out and help those around you. And if you're somewhere in the middle and you're feeling all the feels, I get you, boo. I understand, and I got you, and that's okay. Do your best, because that's just all that we can do. There is a lot of things that have happened that will make you think or make you feel that you're not going to get along with some people anymore, that you don't want to be a part of some other people's lives. And you know what? It is what it is. It's okay. At least now you know where you stand. At least now you know what your foundation is and where you're going to be at. But don't also let that drag you down and make you feel down. Build on top of that. Continue to grow. Continue to do your best. And if your best means treading water, or your best means that you just get to jump out of the water and be resilient, then that's okay too, and kudos to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being a supporter. I cannot say anything else other than like, hey, 2021 is coming, and all that we can do is our very, very best. We are going to still be here for as long as Argos Productions will continue to help us and support us, and we'll continue to try to bring you content, get your mind off some things, highlight some people, help some people, and do all this, whatever it is that we're doing together. But at the end of the day, we do it together. Take care, and Idaho, when you get a chance, when you get an opportunity, get out there and be kind to each other. Thank you so much. We'll see you in 2021. Cheers.
Cheers.